right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Horace Widdison, and welcome to today's show. Now, as we learned last night after Arma, we need a bit of practice with situational awareness in DCS, otherwise known as keeping our eyes on the fucking dot so we can actually kill the son of a bitch. But, see, this is quite difficult, and we do need practice here, because generally speaking, now most people have head tracking if they're playing DCS in any way seriously, and that is an incredible advantage. However, I went off and I did learn some things. Learned some things about how the dots in DCS work. So, to explain in brief terms, what the dots are basically a compromise because DCS is a silly video game. DCS will not render the full aircraft out to a bajillion miles away because that wastes resources, and DCS is already kind of a really terribly optimized game, but it's gotten better in like recent years with some general updates and passes for it, like say like adding multi-threading and a bunch of other stuff. But so you can't render the aircraft in the world at all times for you to see. This is where the dots come in, and generally speaking, DCS is not unique for this. War Thunder also does this, and generally speaking, most flight sims also do this. The black dot is a replacement for what you could possibly see at a long distance, because the game can't really do that. But once you get within a certain distance, the black dot switches to the visual model of the aircraft, which has the, the ambient lighting and everything on it. So that's kind of how it works. They just kind of do a switcheroo once you get within a certain distance, and the aircraft itself starts rendering. So, once you're within, like, dogfighting range, you actually have to keep your eyes on the aircraft itself. However, spotting aircraft from a distance, you're looking at dots. Just like, basically, like, Years of War Thunder have trained us to do. Spot the dots, like we're playing props. So, the question becomes, alright, so I'm having trouble seeing the fucking dots, because that's the thing. He's far enough away in certain terms, or certain areas, that I can't see the visual model of the plane, but I also cannot keep my eyes on the fucking dot to save my life, as we saw last night fighting things, especially the MiG-15. We're gonna have to come up with a very interesting strategy to fight him, and I think I know how, but we're gonna do a lot of other things before we get to that. We're probably gonna go back to Area 88 today, and we're gonna be testing what happens when we give a MiG-21 Fox 1s, and we have to dodge those while we merge. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do gun practice against the MiG-19 and get all nice and warmed up, and then we'll see what happens after that. But, so, what have I done? Okay, so, did some research, and some of the sweats that play PvP in DCS, I had some recommendations for enhancing visibility. I actually found that I had made some mistakes in turning some settings on that actually negatively affect visibility. Because there is a choice here. The game looks a little ugly, though in my case I found that it looks fine. Honestly, I didn't really notice a difference. But it looks a little ugly and it's a little jaggy, and you can see things, or it looks pretty and picturesque and you can't see a fucking thing. Because the dots are affected by certain render settings. But, so, first thing we did is that in the NVIDIA control panel, I have turned off SAAA and MSAA. I forced them to be completely off. And in the actual DCS settings, we have turned off SSAO and SSLR. These four things evidently affect the rendering dot distance the most, as well as raw rendering resolution, which it was recommended that you play at 1080p for maximum visibility. And generally speaking, if you play even lower, the dots get easier to see because everything gets kind of grainy and low res. But we're already on 1080p because I never made the jump to 4K, so we don't have these fucking problems. MSAA is fine, and so you can turn that on to compensate for the extra jagginess of not having the more advanced anti-aliasing settings on. Everything kind of looks fine. I didn't really notice a difference with these settings. However, one other thing that I did that I hadn't seen any information on, but I spotted it, is we forced the spotting dots to 2 pixels, which they're on auto normally, and adjust to your monitor resolution. I don't really know exactly how this functions. However, making them bigger, if we have the option, and it's literally right here, I'm gonna do that, and from what I tested, really, really basically getting the game warmed up here, just, loading the map and then, playing one fight to see how everything works. I can see things now! So it seems to be a little bit easier to track the dot, but we're gonna train ourselves to, actually get in there and fight. So that's what we're doing. However, the Sweats also recommended using Reshade, which is a third-party post-processing, basically a script that you could put into any game. I draw the line at using third-party programs to affect a game here. That's basically cheating now. Now, granted, all it really does is that it makes the image, like, what he suggested to do was make the image more saturated so you can kind of look around a little better and, like, different colors are more distinct from each other. So that's not really that big of a deal, but we're not using third-party programs to be good at DCS. That's kind of lame. So what I have is I've altered, more or less, only settings in DCS and then, forced my graphics card settings to not have certain options on, which anyone could do. And for the most part, actually, for some reason, SSAA has disappeared from the options menu. The video I watched had an older version of DCS, and it was here next to everything else, but it's gone now. So, not sure what's going on here with that one, but we forced it off in the NVIDIA control panel. Now, was it MFSA? Hold on. Let me double check this, because if I have MSAA turned on, I might be retarded. So if I have that on, I may have just forced it off in the control panel, and that does literally nothing. It really doesn't look that bad at all, honestly. There really isn't any difference from what we were running. But hold on here. Let me see something, because I think I've just, like, walked over my own stupidity there. Let's see here. Right, it's MFAA, which we wanted to turn off. Right? I'm not stupid. I think I said MSAA. So it's FXAA and MFAA you want to turn off, because these evidently cause, basically affect DCS and cause it, basically they mute the dot and also will also, mute the visual model to make it look all nice and pretty. The only problem is then it gets really fucking hard to see. So, right. I think I got that right. But generally speaking, I set it up and we can see the dots a bit better here. So we're going to go kill the farmer here to get, all good and warmed up here. Mostly gun training as well, because I need more of that. Because when we're fighting, like, MiG-21s and things like that, we can't get fucking close enough to use the guns anyway. So it's mostly a missile fight in that regard, unless we hang with the motherfucker until he stalls. Which you could do, but takes a while. But okay, so yeah, my friend has turned an Atlas into an unstoppable force, as is what you do with an Atlas. Hardened armor is bullshit. It might make it slow as fuck, but it gives the equivalent of 100 points of armor on its center torso. Yeah, you're not killing that very easily. What version has a Gauss rifle instead of an AC-20, and the other carries an LBX-20? Okay, I condone the LBX-20 replacement, but the Gauss rifle's been maxed. But yes, that's generally what I do with the Atlas. I slow it down to basically as slow as it can go, and I make it armored to fucking back. Though granted, using an LBX-20 on a very slow mech is somewhat difficult because of the engagement ranges. However, yeah, the Gauss rifle would be the smarter idea, but come on, it's the Gauss rifle. The Gauss is mostly there to replace the LRM on that model. You got rid of the LRMs? I mean, mostly shit. Mostly what I do is I get rid of the SRMs, because in, like, MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, the SRMs are completely fucking worthless. The LBX-20 keeps the LRM. Yeah, that's the long-range response option. So, yeah. Okay, so you must have done something else with some of the other hard points. Okay, interesting. Right, but you kind of need a response at long ranges, and usually that's just, you have a 22 LRM, and you just shoot at the fucking guy while you're walking very slowly towards him. Alright, okay, so we're gonna go fight the MiG-19. We're gonna get all nice and warmed up here, and then we're gonna go to Area 88 again. We're gonna fight the MiG-21. And then, once we are, comfortable fighting the MiG-21, we're gonna give him radar missiles. We're gonna see what happens there, because then we're gonna have to worry about notching as we close into the merge, and that's fucking gambling. Really, it is. It's all gambling, because you don't know if he's fired it or not. he can lock you, and that's your warning that he might have fired, but you're not sure because you don't get a launch warning in the F-100. The only thing that actually gives you a launch warning is an SA-2. Which, good that you can tell when an SA-2 battery is fucking fired at you, but that's the only thing that'll actually give you a launch warning. But okay, so to go over this mission very briefly, it's basically more or less the same as the fight in instant action. I have just, at this point, I've just changed the paint scheme. Though, right. Put the RAWs back on, because we're going to have the RAWs for the most part here. We don't need to fake it with the MiG-21, because we're fighting the MiG-21 in Area 88, and it's like 1980, so we would have that. We would have that, and we're gonna need that to survive. So we'll put the thing back on the dash. It really doesn't matter here. So generally it. We got AIM-9Bs, because we're going to be trying to mostly use the guns here, but again, the AIM-9B is a difficult shot in general, especially in this fight, so if we see the shot for the AIM-9B, we're going to take the shot, because generally speaking, it seems like in most cases the F-100, the MiG-19 is really the only thing it can outmaneuver and get guns on. I haven't tested it against the full catalog of aircraft in DCS. That's going to take a while. But it seems as though, yeah, like, only period aircraft you have a real chance of getting the guns on, but it'd be good if you actually, got good at doing that. But generally, it looks like the guns on the F-100 are going to be relegated to strafing if we play, like, Area 88. But who the fuck knows? Anything could happen in Area 88. And if something happens, it's good for us. We make lots of money. So we're going to need to be able to switch between them, or rather, you're going to want to be able to, or know when to switch between guns and missiles, and then that's just getting comfortable with the specific missile you have. Bs are a little difficult to use because they are basically, you basically have to be staring at the guy below him, right at his engines, in order for the Sidewinder to say, oh, that guy. Oh, I see that guy. Es are a little bit better about that, but they're not magic. They do have limitations, but they can get locks much easier. And as we saw of the AIM-9 Papas, and generally the Juliets, I can't tell the difference between a Juliet and a Papa, honestly. Like, the base P and the P3. They really seem to function the same. I don't think they really have any side aspect acquisition, like, at all. You're basically, I can't really tell the difference between those and an AIM-9E in terms of acquisition, like, angle, because you're basically still just right behind the guy, and, like, yeah, maybe you got some off-center from his, from where his engine is, but they generally feel like they have the exact same tolerances for acquiring a lock. Now, the AIM-9P3s are much faster and, have a little bit better aerodynamics in general in comparison to all three of those, so that's going to be helpful because we're going to be fighting a MiG-21 who's going to be faster than us. The E, we kind of have to wait for him to slow down a little bit. You chase him into a vertical and wait until he slows just a little bit in order to get that shot in. But the P3 can actually make that shot just generally, like, on the deck as long as you're not going slow as fuck. So that's kind of what you're getting out of upgrading the missiles generally. It's not really gaining, like, side aspect, point and shoot ability, like we did with the M, where we just looked at the guy and fired the missile and then, right slam into his fuselage at, like, basically 2 o'clock high, more or less, right in front of him as he's turning. We can't do that. The missiles in DCS don't do that. In War Thunder, they will, for some bizarre-ass reason. The J will get side aspect locks, no problem. Especially if you have your radar to slave to it. But here, no. But welcome to flight sims. They're all silly flying games, and you kind of have to deal with what you've got. So, at least in this case, if we give the MiG-21 R60s, the R60 is actually far less threatening in this game than War Thunder will have you believe. It's still got its limited range, but it's not that good, really, from what I've seen. We can dodge those kind of okay. Like, it's still threatening. You don't want to be locked on by one. It's still got 30 Gs of pull, but as I've seen, it's not fantastic. And we also might survive a hit from it, because in DCS, it's actually somewhat realistically modeled the payload, because in War Thunder, if a missile hits something, it just explodes immediately. The R60 is actually, one of its major downsides is because it's so fucking small, it doesn't have much bang. So it's actually to kind of, like, wound an aircraft to get it to stop maneuvering so you can shoot it down better. But it's in DCS, it's not terribly threatening. Or rather, it's a problem, but it's not as bad as it is in War Thunder with, oh fuck, someone launched an R60 at me at rear aspect. I'm going to instantly die. It's not really that bad at all. Granted, if we had flares, it'd be no problem whatsoever, but we don't have flares yet. We'll see what happens when, with, modding in general, or what the developers decide to do with, like hypotheticals, because they gave it AIM-9 Ls and Ms and P5s. Let's see if they decide to give it a chaff and flare dispenser, as again, a hypothetical, because there are bolt-on chaff and flare dispensers. The Hun didn't get any of them, but you could have given them. And if we're going to be using them in, like, if you're going to give it AIM-9Ms, and you're going to be making other modifications to the plane. So we'll see what happens. There's probably going to be fairly quickly some kind of external mod that gives it chaff and flare dispensers, which shouldn't be that difficult. More or less what they have to do is just, like, replace the Sidewinder pylons with another set of Sidewinder pylons. It might look a little janky, but I know the F-100 specifically has chaff and flare dispensers on the pylons, so that probably wouldn't be terribly difficult to do the old switcheroo for, if someone wanted to be really quick and dirty about it, but we'll see if anybody does anything with that. But, generally speaking, flying in a Fox 1 environment, or God help you, a Fox 3 environment, is going to be comedy in terms of lethality for this plane. I think we could do Fox 1, though. I think we can manage that. That's still dangerous, but we have the ability to notch those and see them coming. To an extent, or at least see the radar. But, so, let's get into it, folks. To move the mouse over here. This is really quite not exactly a fantastic setup here that I've got here, because I have the mouse is... Maybe I should just move the mouse forward here a little bit while we're doing this, so I can keep the joystick as close to center as possible, because, the mouse is right next to the keyboard, but the joystick, it needs to be right there so I can click on shit. Though, generally speaking, throttle control in the F-100 isn't really that big of a deal here, in terms of, like, moving it up and down in a fight. You kind of don't. You kind of just throw it to full and leave it there, because moving it around is so taxing and dangerous that you kind of don't need to do that. So I could actually move the mouse over to my offhand, and then maybe we can use that to look around a little better, but not quite sure. I'm right-handed, so that's a little difficult to, kind of master there. But that's an option, I guess. Welcome to Flight Sims. It's all over the goddamn place. We're making our own fun, and there are so many hoops to jump through for hardware limitations and, like, user experience. Granted, I've got pedals, I've got a HOTAS, and that's kind of just really all you need. And on baseline setting here, we have custom views so we can look around. That's really all you need in a baseline setting, but if you're trying to play, like, DCS and PvP, you're gonna have a shit time trying to do that. But then again, that's just, like... Looking at it that perspective, oh, well, hey, Exodus. You caught me as I'm rambling and about to get into a fight here. But like I was saying, really at that point, if we're playing DCS and PvP really hard, it's kind of pay to win if you really think about it, with like head tracking and shit like that. Yo, buddy, still alive? For the moment, we're about to get into an engagement with a MiG-19, and we're going to warm up here. So, we're alive right now. Maybe check back in 5 minutes. It might change. But okay. Enough talking. Let's get into it, because it's going to be a long day of fucking around here, and then we're going to be fighting things that are dangerous. If we can take care of the MiG-21 in Area 88, reasonably fine with Fox 3s, maybe we'll up him to a flogger, and then we're really playing dangerous. Okay. Dampener is off, throttle to full. But thanks for the raid, Exodus. Okay, so you can already see that, yeah, there's the dot. We can see the man. We can see him, coming in, from this angle fairly easily, but I believe they're easier to see now. So, Up he goes. And he's immediately going vertical. Okay. Okay, he's already looking at us. Okay, there, he just kind of, he's flying right by us. Oh, okay, buddy. Okay, there he is. Okay, he's rolling right. And the burner also, I don't fucking compressor stall. Where is he? Nope, too low. Okay, he's rolling back up. Okay, he's gonna cross the nose. Where are you, son of a bitch? There you are. Nope, too slow. Too slow. Okay, got another chance here. Yep, too low. Burner on may come back a little faster. Nope. Dancing around it. Hey! Alright, splash! Alright, good. Getting the nose on elevation there a little difficult, but we got him. Good. Very good. Can't stick around too long because of dinner. I'll be lurking as long as I can, though. Take care and I'll see you around. Right. Thanks for stopping by, Exodus, and thanks for the raid. But okay, so. 1 kill. We're going to be doing this a lot more, but as we saw there, I really had no problem tracking the dot today. At least in this situation. This, I assessed last night that here, for some reason, I can track the dot easier, but after the settings, it's setting changes that I did is really easy. So, we're gonna get, again, all nice and warmed up doing this fight. I'll be in and out myself. We're watching the last Mission Impossible movie tonight. All right. Well, it's Father's Day, so people have a lot of things to do. Though, as we are doing this, because we're going to be doing this for a while here. You know, hang on here. Let me just warm up, because we were doing this before the first time I did this. Hang on here. Let me warm up the old Ace Combat DCS gun show playlist, because that's what really this is for. We're not going to get hit for it. So, how about the soundtrack from every Ace Combat? Turn that down a little bit. So, right. I really got to figure out how to turn that widget off in the bottom left corner. Okay, he's going up again. Ah, there it is. Not really enough to get guns on here, but we're still following him, and he's going in with scissors again. All right. Okay, there he's low. Nope. Okay, he's rolling again into with scissors, so all right, fine. Any day now, buddy. Hits. He's not dead, though. That cough was his afterburner. Whoa! Mm. Alright, where did you go, you son of a bitch? Yeah, I don't think he's there. Ah! And we have lost the MiG, okay. Oh, there he is. Nope. You really love fucking doing that, don't you? Nope, too high. Whoa, okay, that's playing dangerous. Sir, that's the ground. That's the ground. Oh, no, he recovered, okay. Fox 2, nope. Pulling too hard. Nope, can't get guns on him. Come on, steady, steady. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Oh, that's the ground. If I can get the nose over, I can get him. Nope, she's wobbling around too much. Oh. The afterburner kicked off by itself, and that's the warning to stop doing that. Burner. There it is. Okay, Jesus Christ. Okay, he's right fucking behind me. Can't see him. That's what happens when you try and follow him into a vertical like that. The F-100 really doesn't like that. He's got a better thruster weight. Nah, he got us. You really got to get the shot on him in the vertical if you're going to try and do that, but too much wobbling around. That's why we're warming up anyway. You got a hit on him. Didn't kill him, though. Lesson learned. Kill him in the first pass, and then we have less problems. Just like War Thunder, really. Get the guns on immediately, and you have less problems, since you don't have to continue maneuvering with him. But you see, that's where the plane fought us there, because we're trying to run it around and be a little bit more irresponsible, and that's where we run into issues. Really gotta worry about that with the F-100, because if you have the burner on, she becomes very, 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 very temperamental. Any data air engine. Come on, spool up. As I'm talking about the temperamental engine, there's the F-100 being the F-100. Okay, dampeners are off, and he's going to be going up behind us, and that's the other angle. Okay, he's going vertical again. Okay, there he is. Oh, those were on, but they weren't locked, because the radar sight... I really have no idea what's going on with the radar sight. Those were on, like, elevation, but not for actually hitting the son of a bitch. Okay, I saw his afterburner cloth. Where the fuck did he go? Okay, he just passed us. Whoa! Actually, yeah, no, he was shooting at us. Nope. Because I want to nudge the plane over there, but I know she's probably not going to like that. We can snatch a kill like that, but that's being very dangerous. Where's he gone now? Way right in front of me? I thought he was a shadow. Where's he gone? He's literally right in front of you, sir. Oh, Jesus! I lost him again, and that's the water. That is the water. there he is. Generally, I find in this fight, the easiest thing to do is just keep turning. You just keep turning until the MiG is in front of you. It really is sometimes that simple. He passed underneath us, so let's see if we can acquire him. There he is. Okay, he's coming back on for another head-on pass. And I lost him on the fucking canopy bow. And, okay, there he is. Nope. I think, honestly, I was too late, because the 20 mil projectile speed is actually really, really slow. Okay, we got something here. Nope. Not on. Okay, he's going vertical, but I'm gonna get a gunshot here. And I immediately miss it. No, we're not doing that. From what I can tell, you could do vertical in the F-100, you have to be at incredibly high speed to do that. You have to, like, be over 400 knots. Otherwise, not a smart idea. You might think, oh, well, the afterburner could help me. The afterburner will probably make you stall the fucking engine doing that. Okay. Saw him for a split second, he went around to our left. And I lost him. I thought the buildings over there were him, but no. No, they are not. No, there he is. He's behind us. See what we can do now that I can actually goddamn see? I think that's side aspect. I couldn't see him over the trees. Nope. Still nothing. Nope. I seem to be only able to do that when he's right fucking smack in front of us. Okay, let's see if we can keep with him. Come on, baby. Come on. Come. No, the other way. Okay, that's a very interesting aerodynamic behavior, but we're still alive. However, we lost track of the MiG. There he is. But, yeah, the idea was to stay on him, not flop around like a fish. Okay, I lost him, but he's passing underneath us. Where the fuck are you, you cocksucker? Is that him over there? I think? No, probably not. I don't see him. Where the fuck did he go? Ah, he got behind us and I wasn't turning. He actually got an R3 shot on us. He's right fucking behind us, so now we know if we can't see him, he's right behind us. He actually got an R3 shot off on us because I wasn't turning as hard as I could. See, that can happen. He's threatening. So I was trying to conserve energy while I was turning around, but you really can't do that against him because he can turn just as hard as you. So you have to actually, like, really, you know, pull the stick back as you're losing speed and hope to God the afterburner keeps you in the air. So really, it's coming down to missing the shots when we get them, because we start the fight with usually with a pretty good advantage, at least on the first couple of passes. It's down to actually hitting the son of a bitch. But at least I'm tracking the dot while it's on screen. And now we know if I can't see the dot, he's probably right fucking behind me. Pass. And there he goes up again. And immediately right the hell back down? Hello, Dijon mustard. Okay, we're coming in here. Might have guns. Where is he? Whoa, that's too close. Didn't pull hard enough. Son of a bitch, I lost him again. There it is. Hey! Finally, Jesus. All right, good. That's where the gun sight kind of helped us a little bit. I have no idea if that thing is on or not. But hey, all right, good. Nice picturesque head-on pass there, which, you know, we just come around the corner spraying 20mm fire like a red-blooded American. All right, good. Lost him there, but re-engaged and then killed the son of a bitch. That's kind of what we want if we have to lose him. Ah, yes, the most threatening sound of the future. A skipping CD. Classical music on scratched CD. All right. I'm just gonna stop caring about the thing in the corner because, you know, it's enough to actually have to turn off the dampeners every time we do this. Okay, so let's try and go vertical with him by gaining a whole lot of speed as we close. Let's mix it up a little here. So, he's going there, and he's gonna go vertical, so let's go vertical too. And there goes all of my speed. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Okay. Okay, well, I haven't compressor stalled and we're still in the air, so that actually is pretty okay. Okay. Speed's good. I can barely fucking see him. We're gonna pass him too much to get a gun pass, but hang on here. Nope. I knew that was chancy, but oh well. Okay, that's not gonna be on. Okay, keep track of him. See, I can bring the nose down right as he hit. Yes, yes, yes. Hits. Okay, he's leaking fuel. Alright, so that hit something important. I can't really see him back there because I don't have an angle immediately right behind me and up. But he's trailing white smoke now, so yep, there he is. Hey, his engine might be fucked, so let's see if we can get up. Okay, so let's give the sight another try here. Anytime you want to lock there, sight, it's on radar mode. I'm not exactly sure what else I need to do. Okay, we're closing. It looks like his engine's immediately calmed down, so that's not on at all. We pass right by him. Alright, I'm gonna just fucking wind it, because that thing is really only for... the fucked up thing is that's what the sight's for. It's for targets that are basically standing still in midair, and he ejected, so he's dead. So we did get him on that pass, but... The sight is very limited, and it's kind of the same sight on the Saber. It's really just for targets that are not maneuvering basically right in front of you, silhouetted by a cold blue sky. It's really the only time it works. And as we see, it's better to just know where the guns are and to just swing the nose around on target. I'll learn to use that because it is useful for acquiring a target directly in front of you, but it comes down to wingspan, and there's an option to actually set manual wingspan. I might actually... I've set it to, like, stick twist, but I might switch it over to throttle if it's actually necessary. We need to play with that more. But now it's just situational awareness and maneuvering. That's what we're doing today, so we're not going to complicate the mess. So, going vertical worked out. We didn't kill him in the past, but we wounded him enough that he ejected anyway, so I believe we just shot out his engine, which is good enough. A lot of Ace Combat 3 today. Very good. It's on random, but I don't think the random seed is very creative. Fine by me, though. Okay, let's try vertical again. We want to gain a lot of speed going up there. We want to be above 400 knots, it looks like, because anything else is just too fucking slow. And he's going vertical, too. And yes, we're going to space with freefall playing. Haha, hee hee, ho ho. Okay, that's... when she starts to be a little bit difficult to handle, but okay, he's right in front of us. Okay, holy shit, we just slid in right fucking behind him. Okay, can I get a sidewinder shot from this angle? I think I can. Hang on here. Box 2! Yeah, no, that's a great shot! Okay, so we kept him in vertical, and he just didn't have a whole lot of energy, so he's flying in a straight line there, and yep, no, right smack into him with the Sidewinder. Alright! You have to be very careful with the afterburner and going vertical, but that works. Alright. We went to space, and we shot down the MiG. Though granted, that's like 10,000 feet at most. I wasn't looking at the altitude, but okay, that's a great shot with an AIM-9B. So, what I'm thinking of, in order to fight the MiG-15, we kind of have to do the same thing. We're just gonna abuse the fact that we have much more thrust to him and pull him upwards, and then just kind of sit there, drop a missile on his head, more or less. It's probably the safest way of engaging him, because we cannot turn with that son of a bitch no matter what the fuck we do. Okay. Throttle up. We're always turning, I suppose. Let's try vertical, see if we can get a repeat performance or really understand it more. Because again, the reason why I don't do vertical is because I can't really, like, I've been having trouble actually seeing the guy. Now it looks like we've got something here, so let's be a little bit more advanced in terms of fighter tactics, I suppose. Okay, he's up. Okay, 450 knots about, so up we go, into the wild blue yonder. Okay, I don't see him. That is an issue. Where is the MiG? He looked like he was going up, but I don't see him. I had to open my fucking mouth, I guess, right? Okay, yeah, we're actually looking at the guy a lot, yo, and finding the guy a lot, right? Yeah, we're actually keeping an eye on him. And then I immediately lose him in the first fucking maneuver. Yep. Should have kept my mouth shut, but let's see if we can pick him up again. There he is. Okay. Nope, heading right for us. Whoa! Okay, try not to slam directly into him, but okay. Okay, bring it around, 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 round. Wait, okay, no, I thought he was coming straight towards us, but no, he's right behind us. Okay, speed's definitely high enough to keep with him if he tries to go vertical. Oh, okay. I didn't catch that, but we're still behind him. Nope. Okay. He's got his burners on. He's trying to speed up. That's good for us, though, since he's probably going to be... Well, nope. Okay, I lost him. He probably went the other direction. All right, bring it around. Dunder lost the MiG again. Oh, there he is. Really fucking low. Just saw a little bit of silver against the trees there, and that's, sometimes that's all you're gonna get. Pick up some speed here so we're not fucking slagging ass. You should be passing the nose. I think? There he is. Farmer down there working the fucking fields. Okay, so... Nope. I'm guessing that's just too slow. Okay, he's going vertical. Alright, we're going around. Coming back down right fucking behind us. Got some speed though, so we can keep up maneuvers. There he is. Okay, right there. And he's immediately into a fucking scissors again, but that's giving me a shot. Be able to get guns on here. Hey, okay, those are hits, but he ain't dead. Actually, well, he's trailing smoke, so I think he's out. Okay, let's not stall the fucking compressor while we're doing that. Yeah, no, he's trying to hit us with his fucking drop tanks, I guess. He's gonna stall and probably faceplant into the dirt or eject before he hits the ground. Okay, where are you, son of a bitch? You're trailing white smoke into the ground. I can't see the end of the trail. Are you still turning with me, you cocksucker? There he is. Or there he was. Huh? Did he just run out of fuel? Oh no, he's right fucking behind me. That's an R3. Oh boy! Whoa! He did actually fire a missile at me there, I think. Because I think I saw 2 smoke trails there. One of those was an R3. And he's in the dirt. Right over there. Had some fucking bite left into you, I think. Lesson learned. Make sure he's goddamn dead and don't get too artful with those passes. Goodness gracious. Okay, that's a hit. Yeah, he did fire an R3 at us. Actually, he shot 2. So he fired at, like, as he was going down and we were passing him, he fired both his R3s at us. One we dodged by accident, the other one I saw, so... No, he did shoot at us! Son of a bitch! Okay, so vertical seems to do well as long as we can keep on the target, which is my problem to begin with. But granted, it looks like, you know, if I'm playing this absolutely expertly, I'm gonna have a lot of room to actually, you know, immediately kill the guy if I was super good. But now it looks like we just have a lot of room to fuck up and recover from it, which is good while we're learning. But it means that we could play this better and more successfully if I actually get good at it. But this is mostly gun training today. We have other attractions. He's going up again, so are we. Be a little bit more heavy with the stick here to get it around. Have I lost the son of a bitch again? Yep, I lost him. See, that's my problem with going vertical. It's very easy to lose the target like that. Okay, we'll find him eventually. Where the hell is he? There he is. He's turning rather lazily, and that's not helping the view. Okay. Turn the burner off so I don't fucking compressor stall when we're going low. Okay. Okay, I should have enough speed to keep with him. Come on, you son of a bitch, where are you? He's behind the fucking canopy, but there he is. See, he just maneuvered really just behind the entire canopy bow while we were doing that. I lost him again. Oh, no, there he is. Nope, too slow. Here we are, doing the fucking scissors again. No, nope, too high. We're on. Come around the turn here. Not on. Eventually I'll figure out how to zero that in here, but the radar sight is not going to update fast enough for me to get those shots. Nope. And he's going to do it again. Yep. but even slower this time, and wham, zoom, off goes the wing. Very good. As soon as he goes into his scissors, it's like, are you good, with the guns? Yes or no? Yes, he immediately dies. All right, let's try to go vertical and see if we can repeat that Sidewinder shot, because that was a good shot. I think he just lost sight of us and he wasn't able to, like, maneuver. But he was going incredibly slowly, so he might have just bled all his speed trying to keep up with us and couldn't really move around. Which is probably how we're going to have to fight the MiG-15, really. But that's going to take a certain very, very fine touch. Alright, dampers off, throttle up. Burner on. Forcing down on the stick because I think we're going to need the upward pitch. He is lazily going up. So, okay, up we go here. 450 knots. It seems to be about as much speed as we can get in that merge. Obviously, if it was a longer range merge, we probably could get more speed, but... Well, that implies we can actually see the target to maneuver. He's right below us, but I lost him. I saw the dot, but then the view changed and, whatchamacallit, I let my hand off the stick. Well, there he is. I let my hand off the stick and the view changed, so then I lost him. Where are you? Oh, wait, no, that's gonna be guns. Hang on here. Nope. Nope. Couldn't bring the rudder over. Okay, I'd like to go down today, please. And he immediately shot a missile at us in the vertical, which, well, that serves me right for doing that stupid shit. He's going at like 3 miles an hour, though. Right, so I should have just shot him with an aim-9B in that situation, rather than trying to get the guns, but I had to go for the guns. So yeah, he could do that. So, again, the guy's a threat, so if we look like we're clowning on him, we're actually winning. So he can actually snapshot us like that, and yeah, we're gonna have to watch for that. So I went for the dangerous thing, rather than trying to shoot a missile at him, but at that point, we just can't get too fucking, like, overexcited with the guns, really. We can't go like, oh, I want the gun kill because the gun kill is so skillful. I'm gonna try and get the gun kills as much as possibly can. No, just use the weapon that you can hit him with today. End the fight as quickly as possible. Because that's what I was trying to do, more or less. I was trying to get the gun kill to be, super cool at close range, but that's a dumb idea. So I had an aim-9B shot, should have taken it. Lesson learned. Guns or missiles, it doesn't really matter. What kills him fastest today? A little slow there on the merge there, like 410 knots. Okay, there he is. Okay, he should be right in front of the canopy bow, right? Yep, okay. I think that's side aspect. It looks like he's going down slightly. We're gonna slow down. Okay, that's side rear. Actually, no, it's front. Okay, we're doing the scissors thing again. Oh, damn it. The edge of I was expecting him to come around from the canopy bow faster than that. Nope. Oh, that's a really ugly set of maneuvers there on my part. We're still somehow in the scissors. He's got the advantage though, so we're going around. Okay, he's right there below me, right over the trees. Right, there he he is. There he is, coming over the water. I was looking in the wrong direction, but he's right in front of the gun sight. Okay. Slow down a little bit, so we're gaining a little too fast here. He's probably gonna go fucking vertical now. Yep, okay, we're gonna try and keep with him just enough to get that Sidewinder shot off. Nope, we're not gonna do that. Nope, she's already bitching and complaining. Nope, back around. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, a little bit of stall there. And he's right fucking behind us and probably warming up in R3, so we're gonna start maneuvering. I lost him, but he's right behind us. There he is. Okay, he's going the opposite direction, it looks like. Where's he gone now, you son of a bitch? There he is. I lost him in the field. I lost him again. He probably passed us, but I don't see him. There he is, yeah. Now we're just guessing where he was, where he is based on where he just was. We're doing the whole fucking missile routine. And immediately into his scissors, because that's just his favorite tactic today. Solid hit. He's dropped his tanks, but he's still maneuvering. See if we can drop behind him. Dad, you're dead. You are dead. I don't know how the fuck you haven't burst into flames, but you are fucking dead. Get out of here. Should have dropped his tanks in the at the beginning of the fight there, but I guess he likes them. There we go. Fox 2, clean him up. All right. Good. It's a lot to keep track of him low with all the clutter here, but we need to learn these skills if we're going to be at any decent kind of player in DCS, even though I'm not going to be playing PvP, so we're avoiding most of that. Okay, he did not at any point get a missile shot on us. So yeah, we hit him and he aborted mission. The aborted mission again there, but so we hit him a bunch, but we didn't really break anything terribly important, it looks like. Past the first shot, he was already disabled. You see, sometimes the 20s just don't make the guy burst into flames when you need him to. But we come around, we shoot him with an AIM-9B and clean it up and get the hell out of there. A little dark there, but I think that's just the map loading. It's gonna brighten up almost immediately now. I don't know what that is. My eyes are dim, I cannot see. I have not brought my specs with me. I have not brought my specs with me. I didn't see him go over us because of the fucking canopy bow, but we're going vertical again. Okay, there he is. he's moving forward of us. If I can keep track of the fucking dot here, he should be crossing the water. I lost him as he crossed over the channel there, or the lake, whatever the fuck, god damn it. I really should just bring it on to target as fast as possible, but he probably turned beneath me. There it is. Almost slotted in there for a pretty good, you know, rear aspect shot, because that seems to be what you gain if you go vertical. And he's going to pass us again, and then probably immediately try and roll into it. Yep, there he goes again. Yep, low. Going too fast, we're not going to get the gunshot there. Nope, too low. On, but no bullets hit him. Hits. And pilot dead. Yep, immediately knocked out. Okay. Get some new material! Alright, good, good. Try it again so we can see if we can perfect this one with the vertical into a rear aspect shot. Because that seems to be like the cleanest way of getting that kill. And I suppose we'll try and adapt that tactic against the MiG-15 if we fight him tonight. Because that guy, yeah, we can't maneuver with that fucker at all, so we have to really just abuse our speed and just repeatedly pull the Olds maneuver on him. Okay, gated speed in here into the merge. Let's see if we can pull this around as fast as possible. I know he's probably going to go vertical, but... Okay, up and to the left. Okay, how fast can I pull this around? Okay, that's full blast on the stick there, and that's not much faster than like 75% on the stick. And I done lost the MiG. It's probably left of us somewhere low. Nope. Probably underneath us then. See, that's the problem with going vertical. I just lose the guy. There he is. Well, he doesn't have to pull a scissors now because he's already basically in one. Okay, so hang on here. Nope. Nope, too low. And see, that kind of nose down, if you have the burner on, you will stall that bitch immediately. So he's getting real low there. Back up. Okay, he should be in front of us now. Nope, too low. Not on. Too high. There we go. All right, on. That's all he does! Get some new material, God! All right. So now we seem to have like the moment of like The point of issue here is keeping track on him in a vertical like that. That's what we need to work on, so we're gonna try and work on that. Yeah, she's really struggling to get over that 400 mark, but okay. So yeah, about 450 knots rounds is the best we're getting for a merge like that. I'm bring her around real quick. At least he's keeping high. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're on side aspect. We're gonna try and sneak in behind him. Nope, he's turning. And he's probably immediately going to roll into the scissors the moment I come around. There he goes! Too low. High. Whoa, okay. Oh, okay, hits. He dropped the fuel tank, so he might be going into the dirt. Where did he go? He ain't trailing smoke, and let's try not to get shot by an R3 while he's dying. There he is. He's either running or out of range. I think he's flying towards us, but... or his engine might just be out, so... I knew that was gonna happen at least once. I got the kill! You are the missile. Remember that. You are always the missile. But it's really difficult to get that shot on precisely with the gun sight, to the point where I might as well just keep it caged the entire time and just walk the fire in, honestly. Because it's probably, like, I don't know, maybe if I adjust my rudder sensitivity a little bit, it might be a little bit easier here, but I don't really have the precision to get that bitch on target. At least, like, not in that situation. So maybe we'll work on that. Maybe the tutorial for, the actual, you know, shooting guns is good for, like, just testing that. Getting it, you know, dialed in. Because we do need to practice with the gun sight in the optimal situation, but this is a dogfight. It's a turning fight. This sight's not really built for this. That's kind of just how it goes. 400 knots, a little slow there and sluggish. Okay, there's the dot. Okay, you should be right in front of me. Should be, there it is. Nope, it's passing low. And there he goes into a fucking suit. We're just doing the same fight over and over again now. In more ways than one. stick jumped up, I couldn't get it down. There we go. That's at least a little different. But yeah, he's just gonna roll into his scissors repeatedly, and we're just gonna have to go back and forth, and then it's just a quick time event to hit the man with the 20 mils. Alright. We will do one more, and then we'll change it up to Area 88. Then we fight a faster, more dangerous opponent, who will just be going around in a circle repeatedly, going faster than us, but then we can just hit him with a missile if he does that. We're gonna try vertical one more time, and we're gonna see if we can get him into a situation, because that's one magical shot we pulled off with the AIM-9B earlier, but I can't seem to get him into that position again. He probably lost sight of us, and the AI, wasn't maneuvering. That might have been why. There's the dot. It's behind the fucking canopy bow again. There he is, low. Okay. Well, we're slightly behind him now. Oh, I lost him in the trees. Wait. No, that's dust. That's dust on the canopy. Okay, go back around, and then we're just gonna get into the same situation we were, which, well, we're gonna win, but... Okay, I think he's coming right the fuck at us. If I can find him on the canopy bow. He is past it. Nope, he's up. Okay. Up, and he's gonna start pulling into his scissors now. There he is. We're tracking him very faintly over the water, and I am... Oh, no, there he is. Okay, those were kind of on, but alright, we're gonna overshoot. Okay, well, I guess we're doing a scissors back now. Okay, slowed down successfully. Fantastic. Too high. No, you're gonna start firing as he's passing, like as he's behind the canopy bow, and you have to just guess the angle if he's going too fast. Nope. That's that miss, son of a whore. There we go, pilot knocked out, right in the fucking brain. Good. We're getting there, but it seems as though we've exhausted the MiG-19's, strategies here. We can get more maneuverable on him, because there's some things we can, force him to do and then get into a better shot, depending on how maneuverable we are, or how much we can keep our eyes on the dot there. But basically what happens is, no matter what we do, we fight him, and then we go into a fucking scissors, and then it's basically just click the dot in time. Okay. Time to change things up. We'd at least got one very good missile kill on it. Alright, so, back to Area 88. And I've already preloaded the Sinai map, so it's not gonna take a million goddamn years to load, hopefully. But so now we're fighting the MiG-21 with R3s, so we're not doing anything ridiculous yet. But once we get comfortable with fighting this guy, then we're gonna give him Fox 1s and we're gonna see what happens. I guess I take back the whole taking forever to load bit, because it seems to be just this. Maybe the Syria map loads faster because it's an older map, even though it's been recently updated. But again, that map is $40 and $60 normally, I think, or like $59.99. It's on sale at 10% now, but it's kind of expensive. This map is at least 20. I haven't bought it yet, though, so I'm running the trial, but I haven't installed Syria yet, so, you know, maybe next time we stream this, we'll go putz around on Syria. But, so, to brief all of you on what's going on here. So the map allows me to select things. We are engaging over the Sinai Peninsula. I have adjusted the clouds and the time of day, which is just a minor change here. We've got high scattered clouds at 17,000 feet, and the time is effectively high noon. So that is a little bit better in terms of lighting. But, so, as for the guy we're fighting, it's a MiG-21 Biz. He's got R3s just as a start here. We'll probably, since he does have radar, we'll probably give him R3, what is it? So he's got R3Ss, so what's the, R3Rs, right. So we're probably gonna give him R3Rs. And then, what else does he have for... Actually, that's his only. Huh. Granted, he has the funny-ass beam-riding missile, which... Okay, that's interesting. That's probably terrible. But I've never actually seen that, so there's that. But that's actually his only semi-active radar missile. So if he has those, that's basically all he can have, aside from, you know, slightly better, you know, IR missiles. So... R60Ms and, you know, different pylons for R60Ms. Or R60s and R60Ms. So the R60 is more threatening than an R3, obviously, but it's manageable in DCS from what I've seen. So, he's just gonna have R3Rs, or R3Ss, just heaters. He's got rear aspect, and then we'll bump him up to give him radar capability as we, you know, play this fight a little bit. And then we'll see what happens. As for me, same thing we did more or less last night. It's the F-100, and we've got AIM-9P3s, which are, well, considerably better heaters than what he has right now, but we can give him R60s, and that's about on spec. The P3s would have been available on the open market at about this time period, so if we give him R60s and R3Rs, that's more or less what we would be fighting if he doesn't pack just all heaters all the time. So this is like 1980s about. The R60M started production in 1983. There was an export model, but the MK isn't in the game, but there's really hardly any difference. So he could have all aspects, but by the time he has all aspects, we could rationalize us having all aspects. I'm not exactly sure where the P4 and P5 started production, but we're in the mid-80s there. So, rationally speaking, we could have P5s, and then we have basically open-source all-aspect missiles. So, this is fail. Or it will be once we give him radar missiles in our 60s. Effectively, that's the worst case scenario. Now we're just imagining that they spent a lot of money on a MiG-21 BIS and they don't have any money for missiles. But so, I've got rear aspect missiles, he's got rear aspect missiles. Mine are slightly better, but my plane is also older, so he's got the airframe advantage, but I've got a slight tech advantage in the missiles that I'm carrying, but we're gonna give him better missiles as we go. So, let's hop into this and give it a whirl. And then if we, once we start fighting this guy with radar missiles, if we get really good at it, we'll make it a flogger and see what happens. Because that's keeping the F-100 in a sane combat environment, the worst possible thing you're gonna fight other than like an F-4 Phantom? If, somebody bought one of those and they're shooting at you? The F-14s, F-15As, F-16As, those are all kind of restricted at this point. So while those are available in the mid to late 70s, we didn't sell them to anyone. So there's, we'd be fighting America in an American jet, which, why the fuck would we do that? But Phantoms on the open market, those conceivably could be sold. But I suppose that, fighting basically everything in DCS is important, just for cross-training, because sometimes the game can throw really weird curveballs at you, depending on the situation, like, say, fighting Iran, and then you have to deal with F-4s, which, But we want to keep this into a sane environment, because going into Fox 3s is going to be absolutely hell on wheels. We have the RAWs, so we can see the missiles incoming and attempt to notch the individual missiles, but that's going to be a fucking giant mess. We'd be fighting America because a flight tech accidentally locked the throttle in Afterburner, and he went mad with power. So yes, the lightning attack that accidentally took off, but then he became the Renegade. Yes, he locked the throttle forward and accidentally took off, and then became a mercenary. Left the airspace, was never seen again. Shut up in the Middle East. Some say he's never landed once. And man, okay, so Sinai just takes fucking forever to load no matter what. Again, maybe Syria is better, because Syria is like one of the oldest maps in the game that's third party. So maybe that's a little better about loading optimization, but I do have the game on an SSD, which is on an HDD, not an SDD, because don't have the space currently. So that might be working against me. Oh well, I guess I should just have infinite money to buy hard drives and RAM. Simply adjust to the economic situation. Skill issue. At least we have the Ace Combat soundtracks here to keep us company while the game is taking forever to load. It'll be much faster once we get through the first fight, but goodness gracious me, DCS. And we're just staying in Ace Combat 3 today, which I'm fucking fine with, but alright. It's on random, and it just keeps picking Ace Combat 3, which... God is with us, I suppose. A UPO skin for the F-100 would be interesting. Totally nonsensical, but interesting. Though, I suppose... Because I was thinking about this... What if you designed a coffin F-100, but you couldn't give it a radar because then you'd have to alter the airframe? So what could you possibly do? And hi, Mike Delta. Welcome back, sir. Thank you for the raid. We're waiting for Sinai to load. But as I was saying, if we wanted to update to Ace Combat 3 levels the F-100, I think I came up with a funny idea, and that's basically using the coffin camera system as a 360-degree IRST. And that would keep it within, sort of its tech level, but basically you would be able to look around the cockpit and you see, there's a dot. The green diamonds are telling me that there is a man over there, and the red dots means he's fired a missile at me. If someone wanted to mod that, God bless, but I don't think anyone's as crazy as me. But, Mr. Mike, you've arrived just in time for Area 88. We're fighting a MiG-21 over Sinai. You know, as soon as the map loads, we've got the Ace Combat soundtracks in the background keeping us company while we wait for DCS to load. I preloaded all of this, but unfortunately, I guess, repeating caucuses to fight the big 19 over and over again kinda dumped it all out of RAM. Excuse me as the entire electrosphere recompiles. Any day now, DCS. My goodness. And any of the raiders coming in from Mike Delta's stream, in your opinion, if you've played DCS, does Syria load faster than Sinai? Because I find that Sinai takes a million goddamn years to load. Is Syria any better? Flying with the F-100 is great, and no, you don't need anything other than a good set of eyes. The only issue is VR and its amazing way of removing a target right in front of you. Ah, yes. Well, we're not playing in VR, so we don't have to worry about that, but I've adjusted my settings to make the dots a little bit more visible here in terms of, like, turning off, like, MSAA and SSL, whatever the hell the three-letter acronyms for funny anti-aliasing. I've also forced the dots to be 2 pixels wide, so that helps a bit. But generally today, we're training situational awareness and target acquisition, and now we fight a MiG-21. But I was talking, like, if you wanted to take this to, like, future ridiculous land, what would you do? And frankly, what I'm thinking is basically just giving you an HMD or making this an incredibly juiced up F-16, but way less reliable. Again, insane, but funny to think about. Okay, I think I see him. He's right. No, that is just a smudge on my canopy glass. Mercy me, he's out there somewhere. Ah, there he is. He's below me. Okay, he's dumping chaff and flares to make sure we see him. Okay. Forgot to turn the dampeners off. That'll get you killed. Alright, where's he gone? There he is. Okay, he's passing front. A little dangerous with that nose down with the afterburner on, but couldn't get the guns on, but he passed us. There he is again. Yeah, he's turning in on us. Actually, no, he's heading away. All right. He turns fast, but not that fast. Can I get that Sidewinder lock? Not from this angle, so we're going to have to hang with him. Burn burner off and then cruise underneath him. There's that fucking fish. Yeah, I think we're a little too far and slow to get the P3 off. Yeah, no, he's already turned, so alright, we're just gonna have to hang with him until he gives us a shot. So... no. A guess, though, but no. We probably could have, if we're really fucking good, got that shot, but not here. Okay, he looks like he's turning or going up there. Okay, burner's still on. Still good for speed. Got a lock. Oh, had it for a second, but he turned too far. Alright. Okay, he's turning again. We're just gonna hang with him until we get a shot. Okay, careful, careful, careful. He hasn't crossed the top of the canopy bow, so he's still right in front of me. I think. There he is. Fox 2. That looks good, I see it. Hey, splash! Alright. That's more or less what we're going to be doing on this map. We're going to try for that gun kill, but in this situation, it's going to be incredibly fucking hard to get that gun kill. Because he's just never in a good position unless you're just guessing and firing the guns. Have you removed the flares on the MiG-21? Oh, the black dots on the glass is so bad. I think when you zoom in that they should be reduced. Like, yeah, the canopy on the F-100 is surprisingly dirty. I think that the developers are fucking with us. But it is, like, especially the top of the canopy, surprisingly kind of smudged. Which might be a little not so great, but it's rather funny because I've noticed that raindrops aren't actually modeled on the F-100 currently, because I put it in rain and had a look around. It doesn't have that yet. So there's no, like, visible, like, rain droplets on the canopy yet, so it's not done. So, that canopy might be a work in progress there. But so, no, he still has flares, so he still could have flared us, and it looks like he wasted them immediately upon merging, as if I haven't all-aspect missile yet, but I suppose that's fair. So we're gonna get comfortable here, and then we're gonna give him R3Rs, and then we're gonna see what that is, because it's gonna be me using the RAWs and guessing. So now this should take not 50 billion years to load, thank God. So, he does have flares, but it appears that the AI wasted them immediately on the merge for some bizarre reason. Okay. If the AI's gonna do it here, they're gonna be basically doing it anywhere that we actually play this, so that's just DCS AI, unless you're like doing like Gray Flang and you have hyper-modified, you know, cracked out cheating AI. Okay, dampeners are off, very good. He's a bit left of us, looks like. I think I see him? Yeah, that's him. Just right of the pepper. Okay. Are you dumping all your flares at the same time? Yes, he's still dumping flares. Okay, that's a lazy-ass merge by him. He doesn't know what the fuck we are, and he's staying very far away, apparently. Okay, got him. It's like, yeah, I really have, like, but looking at the top of the canopy, it's like I really have a real dirty screen. Wow! So realistic! Okay. Where's he got? There he is. Lost him a little there in the blackout. Okay. Okay, he's low. And... oh, okay. That's a maneuver kill. Oh, okay. Sure. Judging by that merge, I think somebody showed up to the job drunk today. That would explain some things. Okay. The desert hungers. Dear Mom, your son is dead. He bought the farm today. He crashed his fish bed on into Sinai, I guess. I hope you have a good time. If you feel comfortable against MiG-21s, try Dogs of War. We have a Vietnam mission running there at the moment. No flares or iglas or stingers. Sounds nice. Haven't really looked into multiplayer, and I'm still getting comfortable with the plane, but I'll eventually find my way to multiplayer, I guess. I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm eventually gonna get bored just playing in isolation, so multiplayer eventually. But I'm still getting familiarized with the plane and taking it in parts here. I can start the thing up and take it off, which, well, when we get bored and I need a break, we're probably just going to do free flight and just take off and then putz around and practice takeoff and landing, since I still need to practice that as well. But, yeah, I'm slowly getting accustomed to the entire plane. But yeah, the AI seems to dump all his flares immediately in the first pass for some reason I can't explain. Granted, if I had all aspect missiles, I'd be shooting at him, but I don't, so I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He also hasn't locked us yet. So, that pulsing is him painting us with the radar. The sharp ringing is him getting a lock, and he hasn't gotten a lock yet. He can, but for some reason he hasn't actually got it even in the merge. Right? See you later, Mike. Same to you. Okay. And there's that lazy-ass merge again. The dampers are off, had to double-check that, but here we go into the turn. And we're coming around. And we're gonna try and find the MiG. There's the MiG. Slow up a bit, since I think we're gonna be sliding behind him. Nope, okay. Look down just a little bit here and watch what he does. He looks like he's heading into the dirt again. Hopefully he doesn't slam into the fucking ground before we get a kill. That looks good. Fox 2. Splash. All right. Okay. These are P3s. I can make these shots with an E. I just have to be closer, but okay. At least he didn't slam into the ground. right? Okay. Okay, right. Just right of the pipper again. There it is. Always gotta make sure those dampers are off. Okay, he's still trying to pull wide of us for some bizarre-ass reason, but okay, AI, you do you. And he's dumping all of his flares again, which... I mean, okay, you're not gonna have any left when I get a missile shot on you, but okay. Okay, bring it around. There he is again. No tone. We're gonna have to pass him once. Okay, there he goes. We're on as we come around. We're looking for a shot here. And there's the shot. Or, nope, didn't get toned. Too excited there. Side on, so we gotta keep hanging with him. P3, you sure about that? Can you do that? Yes, it can. Holy shit. Okay, there's your side aspect shot. All right, Papa Threes. You can do that. That's great. I was wondering, because I was not getting anything other than rear aspect shots with these fucking things, but I guess he had his burner on in the turn there, but all right. That's why we spend the big bucks on those. All right, we're gonna give it one more go around, and then we're gonna give him radar missiles and see what happens there. Granted, well, Emerge is, I suppose, a fair engagement. Obviously, if we get jumped by a MiG, we're gonna have some problems here. But then, you know, in that situation, we'd probably have AWACS or ground control telling us, hey, there's a MiG over there. Pay attention. So we kind of know generally where it is. Getting jumped is always a problem, though. But if we get jumped and this guy... If we don't know this guy's behind us and he has R60s, we're probably fucking dead. So we've already made so many mistakes with that shit. So we could, like, vary up the angle here, but this is a fair fight. And so this is as valid for training as I can think of. Granted, taking off, flying to a target, getting into an air engagement that is over their target or around it, that's... something we're gonna have to do, but we'll get to it when we get to it. At least we know in a fair merge, we can pretty handily outmaneuver this guy as long as I can keep the eyes on him. But one more go around, and then we're gonna give him R3Rs and see what happens here. Maybe he'll be more aggressive and stop doing those lazy-ass merges, because he can shoot at us as we approach. We gotta notch that missile, but then again, it's an R3R, so we're gonna have some leeway to actually outmaneuver it, because basically what it is an AIM-9B with a radar seeker head. It's not amazing. Doing that shit again, I guess. Okay, there he is. I was wondering, hey, shouldn't he have passed me by now? But nope, there he is. Try not the blackout, but okay, right? At least we kind of varied up the distance here. I wanted to change direction to see if that, like, did anything in this fight. Because we've just been doing that right turn. Okay. He's going to pass underneath us. Put the stick back here. Speed's still relatively high, so we should be able to keep with him, and now we're pulling in for a missile shot if he keeps his aspect. Nope. Cut the burner here. Try not to overshoot him. Okay, that's straight and narrow, it looks like. Yep, there he goes, Fox 2. And he's, again, wasted all his flares, so if that hits him, that's the end of the ballgame. And right smack into the dirt. That's it! Okay! Granted, we could make this more difficult if we give ourselves aim 9Es. The Juliets and the Papa 3s are, you know, like, the J's, the P's, and the P3s aren't terrifically different from each other, but the P3s have the best acceleration out of the three, so you reach out and grab the guy like that. So we'd have to get closer the lower down we go on the Sidewinder marks. But, now we're gonna make it fair. Or at least super duper fair. Or as fair as we can make it. Without going completely overboard and giving him, you know, all aspect missiles. Alright, so since we seem to be having an okay time of this, immediately snapping directly behind him, we're just gonna go ahead and give him our 60s. And we're gonna see what kind of trouble we get into here. So we're gonna give him 2 R60s on the outer rails, and that is R60 and not M, because that'd be even later. And then we're gonna give him R3Rs. This is now an incredible threat! So let's see what we can get into while we're doing this. This is now the most threatening he can be. Again, just living in the Ace Combat 3 soundtrack still. All the Ace Combat soundtracks are in there, but it's picking 3 repeatedly for some bizarre-ass reason. I'm fine with that, but it's just funny it keeps doing that. Maybe it's trying to tell us something. But okay, so, now we gotta pay attention to the Raws, because if he lacks us, we gotta move. Okay, dampeners off. Throttle to full. So if he locks us, we got a notch and turn. But then again, we're probably going to be able to kinetically defeat an R3R without too much issue, even if we don't notch it, just by turning really hard. The R24s and the Flogger, though, we gotta notch those or they're gonna kill us dead. Okay, right at the Pipper again. Let's see if he gets us. See if he actually gets a lock on us first of all. We're gonna guess that he had. There's the lock. All right. Notch that son of a bitch. Notch. Oh, he fired that missile. Okay, he shot at us with an R3R and we dodged it. Granted, it's an R3R. Ooh, I don't know, that might have been an R60. Ooh, oh boy. He's being real aggressive now. Ooh, okay, buddy, now we're playing. And he's dumping flares as we pass him. Speed's still good. As long as we don't slam to the ground here as I make this turn, we should be able to keep on him. Get real low and slow, though. That's not good. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, no. Uh-oh. No! Yep, no, that's the dirt. Oh! Well, at least we know he did fire an R60 and an R3R at us. So, well, that was my turn to eat the dirt. Oops. Well, I dodged his shots, but I got a little too low and slow there. Because I've been good about keeping the aircraft in the air at that low of an angle, but that time I fucked it up. It's gonna happen. But we did the important part. I dodged the radar, locks from front on. Oh. Okay. So that's how we're playing this, huh, playlist? All right, let's go. Because this is definitely a B7R tier dogfight in terms of difficulty. It isn't as showy, but there's the lethality's there. Hey, fish buddy. Have you found a reason to fight yet? Okay, there he is. Right at the pepper again. There's the lock. All right, Notch. Okay, broke the lock. Doesn't look like he got a chance to fire. Oh, he's trying, but yeah, that's not tracking me. Okay, so now we have to not slam directly into the dirt here while we're doing this and maintain speed. There he is, low of me. Okay, we're still doing good here. I'm still gaining on him. Okay, speed's dropping a little bit. Let off the stick a little bit there. A little bit more. He's still going to get a front-on shot on us, and if he gets it with the R3, that's going to be a problem. We're going to have to dodge that. Okay, good. We're slotting in. Speed's coming up. All right, good. Just got to bring the nose on and take the shot. Box 2. All right, missile away. Come on, baby. Track. No dice. Got to go around again. Foxu! Get in there, you son of a bitch! Ah! Well, that was a moment, don't you think? Where are the borders? All I see is sand! Okay, so... living it up here with the Zero soundtrack, but... that's the most threatening I can make him, aside from giving him all aspect missiles, which we're just gonna instantly die. That's what's gonna happen. So let's try that again and get comfortable. But it seems as though, yeah, no, you could fight MiG-21s with R3Rs. You gotta notch and guess. As long as we keep eyes on the guy and watch him go around the sky, we can kinda, keep fighting here, and that's just great. We can do this. This is very chancy, but we can do this. The Flogger, I'm not sure, because R-24s are very dangerous. It's also a much faster plane than us. Like, the MiG already has the speed advantage. The Flogger's even worse. The moment's passed though, but come on. That was cool. I'm clipping that shit. That was cool. That whole fight. Immediately highlighted. Okay, we're gonna notch right and see what happens there. All right, there's a lock. Okay, broke lock. He didn't fire, though. Alright, where the fuck did he go? Gentlemen, I have lost the MiG, and that's very bad. Oh, there he is. Okay, right, he's underneath us. Okay. Heading away from us, too. Okay. Okay, I managed to accidentally outmaneuver him there. Lay off the stick there as we come back around. He's probably going to get a head-on pass at that point. Or, nope, we're coming in behind him. Okay, that was accidentally an amazing maneuver on my part. Just kind of doing shit, but okay. He's coming back around. Okay, she's really low on airspeed, so we gotta be careful here. Whoa, okay, gotta let off that stick. Okay, that's two side on. Oh, he's trying to paint us. Keep her straight and level as we bring her around. Okay, nope. Okay, we're gonna pass him again. I could have got guns on there if I was really fucking cool, but I didn't have them up. Okay, there he is. Okay. Okay, had the shot there for a split second, but that would have been guided in. Oh, that's bad. Whoa! Okay, head-on pass there. Okay, now we gotta really pay attention to when he has a radar lock onto us, because then he could just kind of, if he's fast enough, just, pop out the R3, and then we've got a really big problem. Okay, no tone. Nope. Had to pull the nose over even further to get that, I think. Okay, we're gonna get our shot here, I think. There it was. Wiggle around. Fox 2. No. Okay. Hang with them, go around again. box 2. That's tracking. That looks like that. Good, good, good. I saw the missile go over him, but nope, didn't hit. Nope, there it is. Little slow, kept us waiting. All right. Dangerous, but doable, and really kind of in his favor with those R3s. So did he actually fire anything other than... Okay, so start shooting. No. I thought I saw him fire a missile, but no, the only thing he fired at us was the gun pod. So he didn't get a missile shot off at all. Huh. He has them! Whether or not he uses them is his own concern, I suppose. I suppose if we keep just trouncing him like this, though granted these are actually turn fights and they're very dangerous, if we keep winning, I guess we'll give him R60Ms and then we're just playing really fucking dangerously because... at the point he has those, we could give ourselves P5s, but we'll see if we can do it with P3 still. Okay, there he is again. There's the lock, all right. Notch. I don't see a missile launch, so good. All right, pull it in. Oh, there's one. And you saw the dot disappear on screen. Thanks, DCS. He fired that real late, and that's an angle where that R3 is not going to be able to hit me, so at least there's that. Okay, there's the MiG. Speed's still high, but we're getting a little low to the ground there, buddy. There he goes, dumping all his flares before I'm even, like, in the area to hit him. Okay, back off the stick a little bit here. He's probably going to get another head-on pass if we keep this up, though. Okay, try to keep it at about 300 knots. Alright, where is he? I know we're barely up. There he is. Well, he could have shot us, but he didn't. Okay, now we're gonna watch that speed there as we come around. We're starting to drift a little bit into the danger zone. But you know, if he shoots at us, we're gonna have a fucking problem anyway. Okay, nope. Still too side on to get a shot. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, he dropped the lock immediately. He got it, but he didn't shoot. Okay, we're getting low and slow again, and I don't like that. Go around, see if we can get him. Oh. No tone, but all right. Roll in the other direction definitely helped us there. Because we're still hemorrhaging speed even on burner. This is where I don't feel terrifically confident, but we're behind him, and so that little cheeky move we pulled actually worked. Okay, good for speeding up. Good, fantastic. Okay, just gotta keep hanging with them now. You can see it transition from visual model to dot, which is funny. Fox 2. Alright, that's tracking. A little bit off-center, but tracking. I see the missile tracking. It's going. It's going. No hit. Alright, we gotta go back around again. There he is. Okay. See, they're not magic guaranteed hits. It's just that it's really good if you actually get in the slot to use them. Okay. Nope, too high. I'm basically aiming off screen at that point, and it's going to be fucking impossible to hit unless I start cheating. Okay, that looks like a good place for a missile shot if I can find him. There it is, Fox 2. That looks good. Splash. All right. Okay. So he has R3Rs. He can shoot them at us and emerge, but it seems like we're pretty adept at dodging them, or he's pretty terrible at shooting them. Yep. There's the R3R shot. Didn't hit me. All right, so now we're just gonna make it comically lethal. We're just gonna give him R60Ms and we're gonna see what he does with those, which, God help us, and also wrong plane. Which I foresee we're going to have problems with this. But generally speaking, this is pushing it. Like, this is giving him a massive advantage. Okay, R60M, and 2 R3Rs. So he now has every single possible thing he could use to kill us. This is like giving me AIM-9Ls, and I'm predicting about the same level of difficulty. We'll see what happens, though, because I think I can outmaneuver an R60M in this situation. God help us, though. I'm expecting to die here. I think the fairest we're gonna get here is just giving him R60s and then just calling it a day in terms of the most threatening missile we're fighting in this situation. I think that's where we're gonna be having the most reliable results in terms of fairness. Even though giving him an R60 is definitely not terrifically fair, but I have P3s, so that I've got the best missile I can have in this situation, and the R60 would be, rationally speaking, his at about the same date. The R60M is being incredibly generous, and this is the most lethal a MiG-21 can be right now. So if we can do this, we can fight the MiG-21 every day of the week. However, I would not want him to have R60Ms if he jumps me, because then we're just gonna die. So as long as we hear the lock warning, we can pull out and try and notch the R3s, but the R3s don't need too much to actually work. Or they don't need too much of a pull to actually avoid, I should say. They're still AIM-9Bs. If we just kind of move out of the way really quick, we'll get away with that. There he is right there. Notch. Cut the burner to try and confuse the R60. He fired. I don't know if he's still firing, but he fired. Yeah, that's either an R3 or the R60. Oh, that's bad. Woo! Well, I'm still alive.
Bad turn. I figured I'd try in that initial engagement to see if that would work, but bad turn. Very bad turn. But okay, so we're dodging the missiles at least. He's going to be able to fire them at front aspect as we close, though, and that's going to make that incredibly dangerous. So he's going to get a head-on pass here, and we're going to need to dodge that. No, he fired another one. Okay. Yep. That's what happens when he has our 60s, which is basically cheating. We could do the same thing if we have AIM 9 Ls and M's, really, and P5s, but that's basically cheating at that point. So that's the problem we have here. If we're gonna have all aspect missiles, we can't really fight him like that, or we have to be super duper good with our maneuvering. But we can still dodge it, but not in that situation. That's literally the best possible scenario for him to be in to shoot at us. So that was, yep, an R60. He did fire another one at us, and it missed, though. Actually, he fired 2 R3Rs, and then he fired an R60M. Then he fired his last R60M. That was his last missile. He basically spammed all of his missiles at us as fast as he can go. Well, let's try that again, but yeah, that's about what I expected in that situation. So let's see if we can try and get ourselves into a shot position with, you know, continuing to avoid the R60s, but we really gotta watch. Maybe if we keep speed and just kind of keep up a notch, we can kind of get out of the R60's engagement range? Because it's limited all aspects. But then again, we're still in a pretty bad spot here. So you could probably done, we did hit, really. He fired 2 of them at us and only 1 hit us. You could probably do it. But that's still incredibly dangerous for him to have, and the Fox 1s, in terms of fairness, granted, we can notch them and we're paying attention, so he already has a front aspect weapon. And that's still a little bit more skill-based than literally just look at the man at any angle and fire a missile. But this is about what I expected in terms of lethality. But we did dodge most of the missiles. It's just the last one. And again, more Ace Combat 3 music, because it seems to love it today. Okay, there he is. Lock. Notch. Okay, he fired. That's another that's an R60. Oh boy. Yep. Interesting spiral though. But yeah, that's an R60. Now you see we can't really get close to him like that. Also, I'm dead, so I can't even eject. But yeah, so that's, you know, cute spiral there. But again, that's basically giving him all aspect capabilities and every chance he possibly can to kill us. Granted, we did avoid that the first time, but as you saw, that's an R60. Now, if we were going to up the ante and make this somewhat more fair, I would get a P5, which is just a AIM 9J with all aspect capability. So I would get a P5, and that's not as good as an L, and definitely not as good as an M. So now we have all aspect, you know, capability here, and this is basically all this is. Once you fight all aspect IR missiles, you can't really do anything but also have all aspect IR missiles. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and notch, and then I'm going to shoot a P5 at him and see what happens. He's going to be dumping flares, but we might actually get him first. But again, this is just becomes stupid. This becomes look at the man and fire the missile. This is where the F-100 reaches its logical limit of effective usability. Unless you're being incredibly cheeky, doing something I cannot decipher yet. So this is about where the F-100 stops being a reasonable thing and starts becoming a depth threat. Click the mans with your remote hole puncher, basically. At least I can still keep track of them. We're doing pretty good on that one. But so, giving him regular R60s and R3Rs, that's doable. That's dangerous, but doable. But this is about what I expected for, you know, all aspect missiles, and really at the end of the day, the AIM-9L came into service in 1977, the R-60M came into service in 1983, we'd have Ls, or we'd have P5s. Again, I'm not sure when they began productions and deliveries, though. Ooh, I can get it off while I'm notching. Let's see if that hits. He's flaring, though, so that's probably not. Spooked his ass, though. Okay, coming around for a shot. Box 2. I think he's still dumping flare, so that might not hit, but off goes the missile. And he's dead. That's fair, because I have all aspect capability, even if it's kind of shitty. So basically what I did is I fired a missile at him, and he panicked, and he didn't get his R-60 off in the merge. So, that works, but this is being stupid now. This is now incredibly dangerous, and definitely not the F-100's ballgame. With R-60s and R-3Rs, you're still kind of okay, but now we're gonna do something comedic. And by comedic, I mean incredibly lethal. So good that we got that kill there, but again, that's just all aspect missiles versus all aspect missiles. At that point, we're just... It literally is who can turn the plane around fast enough to shoot the missile at people. Right, okay, so... Now, granted, we should probably step back down to P3s, because this is going to be... We're trying to capture the moment here, and this is still, technically speaking, within the bounds of reasonable... like combat. So, back down to like 1980 exactly. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make him a flogger, which, good golly, Miss Molly, this is gonna be hell on wheels. Okay, so, now it's a flogger, which is like Flaming Cliff's assets, lol. Alright, so, he has R-24Rs, which... Granted, he could also have the semi-active, you know, or whatchamacallit, the IR. So these come in infrared variety, but God help you with that one. So he's got R-24Rs. These are very, very scary missiles. We're gonna give him 2. And we're gonna give him, as is the normal combat loadout for a flogger, 2 IRs and 2 radar missiles, but he only has regular R-60Ms, since this is like 1978 to 1980. The MLD is also post-80s. Like, I'm not exactly sure, but this is like the latest model flogger we can give him. We'd be fighting an earlier flogger, which is, you know, it'd be a whole lot easier to handle due to, like, all the problems the flogger had coming into service. So, this is the best flogger that they could give us, and about what he'd have in the time period where we still have P3s and only P3s. But this is quite a bit more dangerous than the MiG-21. Granted, it's less maneuverable than the MiG-21 in a raw dogfight. However, it's way more capable in literally every other aspect. So, this is gonna be a bitch, and we better notch those missiles. So this is gonna be... I am highly likely not going to survive. This is fighting the R-60Ms, but even worse. This is, oh dear God, what have I done in terms of difficulty? But if we can do this, then we can fight floggers in Area 88. It's still incredibly goddamn dangerous, though. And if you listen very closely, his radar tone is different, so we can get used to that. So we've been hearing the MiG's radar flash and its lock-on tone. Now the tone's going to be different because it's a different radar set. But let's see what we can get in here, because we definitely have to notch those missiles, dear God. We also got to be very careful as we approach the notch, you know, coming out of the notch, because he can fire another one at us. So it's flashing out there. I think I see him immediately. Yep, that's him. That's a lock immediately, and we gotta move, because that's basically a sparrow who's firing at us, but even more dangerous, so we gotta... Okay, we broke the lock. There he is, but okay, so... We gotta be very careful as we come back into range here. He doesn't have all aspect... Oh, there's a lock again. Notch again. Notch again. Okay, we broke the lock. I don't know if he fired, but I think I can see a smoke trail over there. But we gotta be very careful as we approach this guy. So... Oh, that's a missile. I'm alive? No. No! Right into the face! I'm alive and immediately dead. Yeah, that's an R-24. Nope, nope. I had just enough time to see 1 or 2 frames of that hit me directly in the face. Ow! So yeah, that is, we need to notch the missile, or we're dead. And he got a couple locks onto us. I'm not sure if I didn't check the results there. I'm not sure if he fired 1 or 2, but that was definitely an R-24. So this is, aside from being shot out by a sparrow, or God help you, a phoenix, the most dangerous thing you're gonna see. So if we can pull this off, then we more or less can fly the F-100 in combat in any reasonable environment, but this is definitely like a, oh dear God. Can we not? Suppose we're gonna notch going low, because he does have a look-down, shoot-down radar, but the Flogger's radar is also still kind of shitty. Oh, there he is. Okay, broke the lock. Okay, right, he's right there, right over there. He's turning with us. We'll try and go down as we notch. We're gonna hope to God, hope to God the sands give us a hand. Notch again, okay. We gotta basically inchworm towards him. Notched again, alright. Okay, so we're doing it. We're breaking the lock repeatedly, but we've got a lot of fucking problems to deal with in this situation. He definitely has the advantage with approaching us. Uh-oh. No, I can't notch that. Nope. Don't know where it came from, where it went, but yeah, no. I have been able to merge with him, but it's very fucking chancy like that. Okay, so did he fire? Yeah, no, he fired twice, so that was his second missile. So he did fire a missile, and we did notch it successfully, but the second missile got us as we were trying to close in. So I guess we gotta wait, we gotta notch him repeatedly until he just loses that ability. But that's guessing. I don't know when he's launched the missile. I can only guess when he's launched the missile. And so I guess we kind of just bait him into shooting and then try to emerge that way. And again, gambling like a motherfucker. Because as you saw, if we try and approach like that at an angle that isn't a perfect notch, he's going to be able to shoot us. And we can't really move out of the way of the R-24. So I suppose we'll try and bait him. So rather than trying to move in immediately and merge with him, I'm just going to have to sit around him until he wastes his radar missiles. Though again, I can't see when he's fired them. I can only guess that he's fired them after he's gotten a lock, like that. So we're going to give him a second. And hopefully he thinks, I can hit that guy, and then notch immediately. Okay, broke the lock. We're gonna hope to God that that was enough to, like, get him to shoot. Okay, while we got some distance, we're gonna try and pull in again. There he goes. He's firing again. Pull into a notch. I'm gonna hope he's fired both of his missiles at this point. One more time for good measure. Okay, I think I see a smoke trail, so he definitely fired at that point. Notchy, notchy, notch, notch, nitchity, notch, notch. Coding Minecraft here. Okay, we're gonna hope he's fired his missiles. Notched again. Okay, I don't see a missile coming off the rails. I think we're good to approach. Yep, okay. We're not dead! We just had to bait him! Okay, now I gotta actually pull on him, which, okay, we're doing it. Okay, he's dumping flares. Box 2, that looks like it's tracking. Come on, baby, keep track, keep track, keep track. Okay, he's out of flares. Okay, no lock. We might get a gun. Nope, hang on. Sir, that's the ground. Sir, that is the ground. Whoa! Whoa, okay, let's not do that. See, I should have just shot a missile at him. It's a fucking flogger, bro! Just shoot the man and call it a day! I just went fucking gambling against a flogger and won. How much do I need? Okay, as soon as the aircraft wants to turn today. Box 2. Splash! Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is, like, suicidal what we just did. Granted, I also almost fucked up and killed myself there trying to get a gun kill on him. I saw the chance there. But just shoot the fucking missile at a flogger. It's a flogger! You should be dead! But so, that's what we gotta do. We basically gotta bait him into firing so we can approach. Now, wait a second. Wait. Sir! Sir, he didn't fire any missiles. What? He didn't get a shot off once? I guess we were too busy notching him. And I suppose that you just repeatedly notch it until you can get close enough. Okay, we'll try it again to make sure we can confirm. But I suppose we were just notching him so aggressively that he never really felt confident enough to take the shot. So, yeah, the RAWs could be used like this, and you could theoretically use this also against Fox 3s. But you don't have any chaff and flares, so good luck! Make sure you notch fucking perfectly or you're dead. And this is very important that we keep eyes on him. So, as you saw, we were able to keep eyes on him the entire time, which is good, because I need to know where I need to notch. Okay, we're gonna hope he's fired a missile. Okay, there he is, about 2 o'clock still. Trim the nose down here, because I'm fighting it a little. Turn in, try to get him to lock. There's the lock. Turn back out. Notched. Turn back in. Sir, where's the notch angle? Sir? Okay, there it is. It broke it for a second. Notched? Oh, that's fucking dangerous. Okay, we broke it by just flailing around like a jackass. Oh, that's a missile heading towards me. Ah, I lost track of him. He was below me. See, you have to keep track of him like that. And yeah, no, the R-24 can do that. So he took the shot there, but you have to keep track of him so you can actually keep notching him. So yeah, once again, gambling like a motherfucker, but getting, mostly getting away with it. So you have to really just keep track of him and just slowly approach him as you basically try and just fuck his radar as you move in. In, out, in, out. But you could do this, and you could practice this, and this would work conceivably against anyone's radar. However, other radars are probably going to be better. This is a flaming cliffs of MiG-23. So more or less what we want to do is we want to get him to, so we'll give it a sec. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Fucking counting. Okay, there he is again. Okay, so we're 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5. Again, I'm gonna hope he's shot. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, notch. Okay, he's more behind me now. Okay, he's fired again. Nope. It's that close-in shot where it gets really dangerous. Okay, did he fire? Okay, he only fired once. So yeah, it was the one shot he took. Ow. So, this is still comedically dangerous, as you can see. But okay, we can probably get him. We have to play more dangerously here to kind of develop how we're going to screw over the AI. Since notching him from far away is fairly easy, but once we get in close enough, the notching stops working. Or rather, it becomes rather difficult to notch, it seems like. So we're going to have to try and bait him from a fairly large distance away into shooting. So we'll fly towards him for a couple of seconds like an idiot and see if we can get him to stop, get him to fire, and then dodge the missile. Can I tell if he's launched? I probably can. I don't see a visual cue, and that's close enough. Maybe we can try and confuse it by the ground? Okay, notched it. Now I'm throwing the plane around, and I think he's above me now. Okay, he's behind me. Okay, good, good. Notched. Okay, good. We defeated that missile. Notched again. All right, good. We found the angle. Oh, that's another one. Come on. Nope. Well, we dodged one, but he's being very conservative, it looks like. We dodged one. Okay, so it is coming down to finding the notch angle while we're moving around in there, or just maintaining it. So, flailing around wildly did get it in there, but it's all about trying to out-juke that fucking radar of his and those missiles. But if he gets the lock and he maintains it, those missiles are gonna hit us, and that's very, very bad. I managed to become so fucking intermittent, we got away with it once, so let's try that strategy, I guess. Let's try just... Oop. Come on, spool up, you son of a bitch. There we go. Reminding us that we're playing very dangerously in a plane that probably should not be doing any of this. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just try and maintain the notch all the way to actually, like, getting in close with him. We know he's looking at us. So... Okay, where the fuck is he? There he is, okay. Well, right there. 11 o'clock off the nose. Notch? Okay, he's still closing on us, but... Pull it in a little bit. Where the fuck is that notch angle? No, we're gonna die. Oh, nope. Yep, nope. I'm trying to find that notch, but it's incredibly difficult with the RAS data. You really gotta fuck with this guy in order to actually get in there. But as this is, again, the worst, absolute worst case possible situation. So, yeah, he only fired once and he hit us with it. Okay, so maybe if we fly dead straight into him, we can get him to bait that shot and we can close the distance better. Because we can notch the first one. I can get that, but for some reason we're having trouble actually getting in there while he's turning. So maybe the idea is just get as close as possible before you get hit in the face by a missile, right? I'll figure this son of a bitch out. There I go, fucking compressor stall in the engine again. That's really not helping us here. Watch the RPM gauge more, that'll tell me how the throttle's going. I just kind of do it by feeling, and as you can see, I sometimes fuck it up. So, there he is. There's the lock. Okay, there's the missile. I saw it. Okay, that's a smoke trail. He's fired. That's not a healthy enough notch. Okay, I guess that was the radar bouncing off me then? Okay. I think we did it? Because I saw the smoke trail underneath the black dot. I believe that's, again, we dodged it. Okay, well, that's 2 missiles, I think. I think we're good to close. No! Still fucking tracked me. I didn't notch it. I did dodge that first one. So it really is being incredibly sure. So yeah, that was the second shot. So you gotta see the first one launch. And then dodge that, and then try to dodge the second one, or God help you have a wingman in this situation. Good lord. So you can do this. But yeah, this is about as sketchy as I thought. There we are back in Ace Combat 3 again. So what we're looking for when we acquire the dot is we see a little puff of white underneath the plane. Granted, it might be mistaken for a cloud, too, but that's what we're looking for, and that indicates a missile launch. Okay, there he is. Okay, he had to have shot by now. Right, see you later, stranger. Okay, so that first notch is golden. Okay, so what if we just try and keep him, like, at about this angle? Not really pull too far against him. Again, we can just kind of keep him right about there as he approaches, because we know he's approaching. So if I try to keep him about the same spot on my screen, I might be able to perfectly notch him, and holy fucking shit, I'm actually doing it. Okay, so don't watch the RAWs, watch him once you know you've got the notch. That's a problem, though. That's a big problem, though. I don't think he's got the angle to shoot me, though. He doesn't. Holy shit, I actually did it. Okay, we can get a kill here. Come back around here. We've got plenty of speed. Just come up and shoot the son of a bitch right in the back of the head. I don't think he fired a missile, though. I didn't see it. We're gonna find out, because I think the rookie AI is kind of suspect about that. Nope. No tone. Fox 2. Okay. I don't think he fired a missile at us, but we were notching him the whole way, as you saw. He got within really close range, but he still didn't fire a missile once he had the lock, and I guess I was out of aspect for that, I suppose. But as you saw, we notched him basically the whole way, just kind of keeping him at like 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock high. We had the notch angle, so I suppose what it is you use the RAWs to get the notch angle, and then you see where he is in the canopy in that notch angle, and you try to keep him in that point in the canopy, which is, what the fuck are we doing? Did he fire a missile? No, he never got a chance to fire a missile. He had a chance as we were closing in, obviously, but we never had a chance to fire a missile. All right, one more time here so we can confirm what the hell I just did. Which, what the hell are we doing aside from, like, rocket science? We're suicidal morons trying to make this work, but okay, you can actually pull one over on a flogger. From the looks of it, anyway. Okay, so we can get that first notch crystal clear, no problem. So we're gonna close with him until we can kind of see. And we're gonna have to do this by feeling, I suppose, but we want to see him launch that missile. There's no way of seeing it other than just looking at him, and he's got a lock, and then we're looking for a white puff around him, but then again, the clouds may obscure that. There it is, okay. Okay, there was, okay. Shit, he still got a lock on us. Come on, Roz, where the fuck is he? There it is. It's getting louder. Nope. I'm not sure if that was me pulling out of the angle or like the Raws being unable to pick him up. I'm not sure, but we dodged the first missile and then he got a second one off. But okay, so hang on here. We gotta figure this out here, because it's... You can do it, it's just that you have to do it absolutely perfectly. You have to attain that notch and keep that angle at all costs. So you can get the notch pretty easily, at least at fairly long range, I suppose. So maybe that's it. Maybe we're just too close. I don't know. But this is like perfect fucking geometry, basically.
Is that him? Yeah, that's him over there. Okay.
I'll fly right the fuck at him. There's the missile. Pull due south about, right about there. Okay, notch. Okay, now we want to keep him right at that angle. Right where he is. Right as... right, he's going to keep closing, but right about where he is. Keep him that part of the screen, kinda, sorta. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's too close. Nope. We could dodge the first one, but okay, we gotta figure out a fucking way of doing this. Because you can dodge that with the notch, but finding that angle at close range is really difficult. And I think I've got something, but we gotta keep trying until we figure it out. Granted, at least this will work on basically everything that can lock us with a Fox 1, so there's that. Hello, Destroyer. Welcome to science here as we attempt to figure out how to notch a flogger and close. Which we've done it! It's just that it's really rather sketchy, as you could imagine. Okay, missile launch. Turn it to due north, and that should be notched. Should be notched. Come on, Roz. Where is he? There he is. Okay. Okay, we're gonna try and keep him, again, at that wonderful fucking angle, which isn't working. I notched him again. Okay. Okay, that's really not helping at all, and I'm gonna get hit by a missile again. Yep, nope. Okay, the angle gets really sketchy. So I guess we're just gonna have to... We're gonna watch him. So we can dodge the first missile like that, and that's totally fine. Someone's gonna have to ask Claude how to do this in the future. Well, good thing that we're still really determined individuals that will sit here for almost an hour and a half trying to figure this the fuck out. Okay, so we can dodge the first missile. Then we need to figure out how to notch the second missile or reliably keep the notch. Because I've done it, but for some reason it's really hard to find that angle to keep on him. Well, we're staying in the turn while also notching him. So you gotta thread that perfectly. But I've done it, So it's possible. You just gotta figure out a more correct way of doing that. More reliable way of assessing it. That's another thing that people with head tracking can do more. They can zoom more and get more out of it. Okay, missile in the air. Notch. Accidentally flipped the burner there, but okay. Any second now. That's still tracking me. Okay, that worked. Okay, rolling inverted worked. He definitely fired at me, so okay. Rolling inverted and diving towards the ground at the last second got me away from that missile. All right. We're just trying shit and seeing what sticks, and that seems to work. Any day now, Slugger, if you want to peer from behind the bow. Okay. It's kind of like the MiG-21. I'm not going to be able to pull fast enough to actually get guns on him, but I keep trying anyway. Buddy boy, that is the ground you're headed towards. Fox 2. That looks good. Right at the end of the song there, too. We did it! He fired at least one missile at me. No, he fired both, and they both missed. All right, so let's watch the track here and see what these missiles are doing. Because, you know, replays in this game are a little sketchy because it's not actually a replay. It's AI running the same path as you and the enemy during the mission, and sometimes the AI can fuck that up and desync from it because they're not doing exactly what you did. But let's see. Let's look at these missiles and see what happens here. Let's look at it from his angle and see what we just did, because I'm pretty sure I just bullshitted the last missile and got away from it somehow. Okay, can I turn markers on for replays? No, I have to turn that on in the menu, but we can track the missile. I can pause it and we can look at the missile as it's being fired. Okay, we can speed up time with Control Z. Okay, there's one. So we know we dodged that perfectly fine just by notching it. Okay, then he's gonna pull in for a second one, because we're still trying to figure out what the hell we're doing here. And he's gonna fire the second one, and we're just gonna do some bullshit. Alright, there's the second missile. Which I believe... It's not that one, that's the one that's missed. It's that one. Which, hey, nice screenshot there! Wow, cool! Now, how the fuck do we dodge this? Okay, so that's tracking. We're gonna roll inverted right about now. We just notched it! Okay, so we can notch, but we're still getting a tone from the radar. We just went, nah, fuck you, and the missile completely missed. Okay! Cool! Now hang on, I'm gonna have to get a shot of this if we get it, which we probably will, because it's a missile kill, not a gun kill. Now we're gonna get ourselves a nice, happy screenshot. If the AI doesn't fuck up and get us killed. Which it shouldn't, because he doesn't pull ahead of us at any point, so we're just firing a missile, and it's gonna be just the missile. So we're gonna remember this occasion as we just ditched two R-24s in an incredibly dangerous scenario just by kind of throwing bullshit at it. But it can be done. It's just that it's incredibly dangerous. I'll save the track after we're done. Yeah, it's a little low to the ground there, buddy. Alright, so we want to stop right about there. And we go after Mr. Flogger here, and we try and spot that Sidewinder, which is literally right there. And we're gonna slow down time. And we're gonna try to get it at missile impact. Okay, so that's at missile impact. There's no smoke trail, obviously, but so, alright, so that's us right behind him. So, okay, so, if we... I think it's Control F2. Nope, wrong one. Okay, so it's Alt F2? Right, okay, to look around here. And then we just kind of zoom in here and in right control. See, where the fuck are we? We're back there. Okay, so this is going to take some adjustment here. So, we're back there, and he's over here. So we kind of want to maneuver this into an area where we can see both of us, and then we can assure that, hey guys, we killed a Flogger fair and square. Get ourselves a nice screenshot here while we're being, like, pretentious, but okay. Twist it a little bit here. The heat blur is going to be kind of obstructing it, but... Okay, zoom out a little bit more. And zoom in. Because we want, obviously, the full rack of the Flogger in the shot, plus us. Granted, there's no smoke trail because it's a P3, so we reduce smoke, but there it is. Alright, can we get this any better? Okay, that's the most we can zoom in, which is good, but... And we kind of move it out a bit. But that's the highest zoom we're getting. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and keep this angle. Try and keep this angle here. Lock that in, and then we're gonna advance time very, very slowly. That's forward. So we're gonna advance time very slowly and see what kind of shots we can get, but that one's pretty good. So hold on here. Let me get the old, Kodak in here. So that one's good. Let's see if we can get another one. Okay, so we're at like 1/64th times. When I unpause, it's gonna move very slowly. If I'm clicking on it, there it is. Okay, I lost us. Okay, we're... Good golly, Miss Molly, where am I in this shot? Oh, dang it. We done fucked it up. Now I'm invisible. How can you get my good side if you can't even see me? Oh, hell. Where did we go? Man, fucking up one control. Where at? There we are. We're completely off there. Move that over a bit here, and so when I hit unpause, it should actually unpause now. Yep, there we go. See, does he, like, burst into flames after the first impact here? Because he should be on fire. Yep, there's the fire. Very slowly burning. Waiting for a game to give us cool screenshot effects. Come on now, speed it up a little bit here. Yeah, bits of his plane coming out, just phasing out of the model because he's from Flaming Cliffs and he's like 20 years old. No cool smoke trails, no nothing. Is that the best we're getting? There we go. Perfect, the pilot ejecting. Good. There, that's something. All right, now where the fuck am I? Okay, that's a cool angle, if I can find me. Where the hell am I? Where am I in this photograph? It's rather important. There. Okay, good. We lost ourselves again. Found it again. All right, so let's see. Okay, we're going to slow that down a little bit and let that play more and keep an eye on us. See if we can get the pilot bailing out, and hopefully the plane is now spewing smoke and looking all cool as we pass directly underneath it in the frame of view of the camera. Then we can make the front page of Twitter saying, holy shit, this guy's crazy and has a gambling addiction, but he's a hell of a saber pilot. So any day the pilot wants to come out of the plane. Any day you want to eject here, because I know we're moving at like micrometer time here, but you know, any day you want to punch out here and give us a bunch of cool effects here to take a photograph of, because now we're just being gratuitous and, you know, flating the ego here. But hey, we did it. That's really hard to do. Okay, there we go. And he done fired himself directly out of the cockpit, escaping the terrible fate that I have bestowed upon him. However, I don't see any smoke effects. Where are the smoke effects? There should be a whoosh right under the seat as his ass is propelled clear out of the aircraft. That's rather sad. Speed up time a little bit here. Maybe it's just incredibly slow to render, but no, that appears to be it. There we go. Oh, the smoke doesn't oh. Oh, it don't render. Oh, it doesn't render below a certain speed. Okay. All right, now how can we get all of these components directly into the frame? We might have gone a little bit too slow there, and the plane would have been on fire more while he was ejecting. However, I don't think we're going to be able to get the escaping pilot into the frame. That is rather sad. But then again, we might. Hang on here. But then again, what if we do it from the pilot's perspective? Though I don't think we could look at him specifically. We might be able to. Oh, mercy me, now I'm just all fucked up. God damn it. The wonders of taking the screenshots from the DCS. The wonders of trying to be cool, while the game is definitely not. I suppose that's cool enough, really. Okay, maybe get this at a slightly different angle so you can see all the battle damage and make sure that the man is dead, but holy Jesus Christ, Jim, the plane is on fire. What more do you need to see? I think we can go back and do this again, but we'll leave it like that. And alt-tap real quickly here, and I think we could go back and catch the pilot ejecting while the plane is bursting into flames. We just need to play the play the replay back faster in order to catch it and pause. Okay, that's screenshot number 2, and he is in fact burning and, you know, blazing in front of us, looking like an actual, you know, high-quality kill there. Let us unpause the game. If I can bring the window back into focus here. Yes, okay. We will unpause the game as the plane wobbles around, and that is the end of the track. So we will save the track as 3. I don't know what those other tracks are. Those are fairly old. So we actually managed to outmaneuver a flogger and not die. I'll probably make a video of that later, but okay, we got ourselves a screenshot, a couple screenshots here. That's saved. We'll mine it for screenshots later. And for cool videos, as everyone sees that how amazingly amazingly skilled and adept I am at finally getting the fucking kill fair and square after like 2 hours, really. All right. With that done, we know we can do it now. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break from all this shooting and violence. Let's just fly the plane around a little bit. Let's stretch our legs and do a startup, a takeoff, and a landing. Because that was a hell of an engagement, but we did it. I'm happy we did get away with that, though, because, oh, good lord, that's a bitch. But I knew you could do it, and you can. It's just that the RAWs gets really kind of weird about, like, notching and tracking there. It's a mess, but, well, I guess I'll go back and study the stream and see exactly what we did, as well as the track that we have just saved. And then, I will understand how to not die to Fox 1s, though it is still gambling like nobody's business. But you can do it. And as we saw, a MiG-21 with R3Rs is not that dramatic of a threat as long as you're still turning and the missiles aren't maneuverable enough to really catch you unless you're not maneuvering. So not just a precaution, obviously, but if you're turning around him and you can see him, he's probably not going to be able to hit you. And man, we're just all Ace Combat 3 today. Obviously, we had 0 show up. That's another highlight. Some 4 in there as well. Obviously, 5 made an appearance earlier as well. Lots of 2s and 1s by what I can hear, but I'm not exactly sure what's from 1 and what's from 2. But the most distinct, clearly out of the mess, has been all the Ace Combat 3 sounds. So, huh. But what I saw of the last engagement was, it appears that even though we're still getting a Raw's tone, we were notching the radar in the process of fucking it up, and that's how we ditched the last missile. So it seems as though there's a bit of delay between you hearing him breaking lock and the Raw's, giving you radar data. So it seems as though if you can kind of guess exactly which bearing is and just kind of pull 90 degrees and notch that, and then hope and fucking pray, basically, you might get away from what's shooting at you enough to approach, but it can be done. I knew it could be done, but we did it. There's proof, at least. That's my contribution to the F-100 community. You can, in fact, notch Fox 1s. It's just gambling like nobody's business. But hey, we're all about doing crazy things in the plane that's trying to kill us half the time. Alright, so. Basic start here. Off idle, or rather to idle. We don't really need this. We don't really need that at all. We're not using the UHF. Turn anti-skid on. That's for testing and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure. I think there's a de-icing system in here, but I'm not sure where it is. Oxygen system on. We're going to need that, clearly. Pressurized cockpit, and then wait for the AC generator to come on, which we can fuck with it. But it's not really that big of a deal. Like, we cut this phase out if we throttled up. Be down and locked, and now we're waiting for that light to go out. But if we throttle up to about 70% with the wheel with the brakes on, we can get this to start faster. But let's just do it normally here. And I believe we need the AC generator on for the compasses to work. Yep, there it goes. So you can make that go faster. Okay. EG back to mag, and that the compasses should start at turning, and yep, there they go. Trim for takeoff. Flaps to intermediate. And I think that's basically it, because we're not shooting anything today. We're just kind of flying around for the sake of flying around. But she started, and that's about it. So we're good to go. I can get it recentered. We turn the sight on just for our own entertainment, I suppose, but we don't really need to. Nope. Forgot to turn that off. What the? Oh, I fucked up zoom. Because I'm not looking at the right spot. Maybe I should lock the angle there, but I think I think I did something to the view there I didn't want to do, but oh well. Alright, so. Nose gear steering on. Throttle up until we start moving. Not gonna knock into anything, but oh, no. Tap the brakes there a little bit. I find myself accidentally triggering the brakes a little bit too much. Might need to adjust the curves on that. Just kind of make light pushes not really do anything. And then, all the way down is just immediately engaged, but then we're gonna have to worry about anti-skid, so we do need to gently apply the brakes sometimes. But I find myself tripping them a little bit, and that kind of fucks me up on the ground. like that. I was turning using the brake there, and we don't want to do that. I want to maintain control of the plane. Okay, pulling onto the runway. A little bit off the yellow line there, but that's fine. Okay. Pull her onto the dotted line and then hit the brakes. We're a little bit left. Right. Close enough, really. Throttle up. Nope, nope, too much. Come on, girl, calm down. There we go. A little bit too much on the high end there for throttle. Okay. Throttle to full. Burner. And brake release. Gets a little nudge on the runway here. Since we're clean, we want to rotate at about 150. Okay, there's 150. Pull back gently on the stick. It's not really gently, but she didn't want to come up at 150. Okay, we're up. A little shaky there. Gear up, flaps up. And that's a takeoff. Granted, we did not inform the tower that we were leaving, but they'll figure it out. I'll get into proper radios and tower frequencies and all that shit later. I learned it with the F-15E, but I've forgotten basically all of it. Okay, we want to come down, but not stall the plane. Something that I picked up as well, we're dropping altitude a little bit there. Something that I picked up from watching videos is that evidently the VVI, which is the gauge right next to the pitch ball on the right, that does not really update fast enough to attain level flight, which is kind of a thing because you see me putzing around with pitch trying to keep the plane level. But you know, I'm looking at the VVI and I'm trying to get it to stand on 0, so not up or down. But it doesn't apparently update fast enough to really achieve that. What I should be doing is watching the altimeter, which, as you can see right now, we're gaining a little height because we're pitched up. We bring her down, bring the pitch ball down to center. Trim it down a bit. Though granted, the zoom is a little bit far in for this. I guess I gotta adjust default view, but down is my instrument panel. Descending. But really what we should be doing is watching the needle on the altimeter, which is like the white gauge dead smack in the middle of the screen, and use that to achieve level flight. Eventually the VVI will follow what that gauge is doing. Like right now we're basically level. Now, still gaining altitude. Now that I can see the gauge, yeah, it's a bit down. Okay, that's basically level, and there we go. The VVI has started to behave. We're losing a little bit of altitude, but that's more or less level. I'm gonna try and trim it with my hands off the stick. Level starting to slip a little bit according to the VVI, but that's about, again, we don't expect miracles here. It's an F-100. That's a little too much, but there you go. That's me not holding the stick at all, and that's more or less level. Granted, the autopilot has a feature for altitude and heading hold, but that's not in yet. But there we are. Nice and happy on mostly level flight. Descending a little bit here, but she's a little finicky in basically every regard. I guess if you wanted absolute perfection, you just never take your hands off the stick, but I'm not putting any pressure on the stick anywhere, and I'm trying to find the center just by using trim. That's close enough, though. But it is good to take a break after all the shooting and just fly the fucking plane around, since this is going to be mostly what we're doing in DCS if we decide to play this in, like, say, multiplayer. Okay, good. Those dampeners are still off. That might also help, too, the dampeners. For at least for level flight, which, I suppose... There we go. It's on. I'm supposed to let Gramps help us out here, because... my grandfather fixed the autopilot, and the dampeners are part of the autopilot system. The other features aren't here, but the dampeners are part of the MB3. So every time those broke, he had to come out and fix the damn thing. So we'll let Gramps' hard work not go to waste here and use the dampeners to give us a nice, clean, smooth flight. And that's the thing about DCS, really. You have to enjoy the simple act of flying the damn plane. It's not all about combat and, you know, dropping bombs on people and, you know, all the exciting, cool shit you can do with jets. You have to just, on some level, enjoy flying the damn thing. And then you can, at that point, also, you know, enjoy starting the thing up, landing the thing properly, learning proper maneuvers and safety protocols and all that other shit. But at some point, you're playing Microsoft Flight Simulator and not actually a jet combat game. That separates... if you're going to be really determined about it, really decisive and really cold and exacting about it, that separates somebody who truly likes flying games from somebody who just plays War Thunder and then Ace Combat. Granted, that's not an insult to people who play Ace Combat. I play Ace Combat. Why would I do that? But the thing is, there are some people who play Ace Combat who would never come near this game. And that's because they just like being a fighter pilot without really learning what a fighter pilot does. They just like the aura, the coolness factor, the idea, rather than the actual practical reality. Though this is me with, you know, a starting bonus here because my grandfather fixed these fucking planes, so... this is me with a small little connection to my family's history. But learning the simple act of flying, or to enjoy the simple act of flying, is again what is going to keep you in DCS, because at the end of the day, it's not really a game. It is a game, but it is you mostly making your own fun with the planes that you have access to. Granted, the multiplayer is, you know, where we start to actually become a game. But in the most regard, you know, in other regard, you know, in all regards, it's a sandbox, I'm trying to say. Where they just kind of give you shit and you just fly around and do whatever. Most people aren't going to find this terrifically interesting. Unless you really, really like planes. What's our fuel at? 75%. I guess we'll run the tank down and go make a landing. It's Microsoft Flight Sim. Yes, with shooting. It's Microsoft Flight Sim, but with shooting. Occasionally. But it's mostly Microsoft Flight Sim. This is... you have to make your own fun, which is what makes the game kind of a hard sell. But if there was one game where I'm just gonna putz around here and fly the plane around just for my own entertainment, it's gonna be here, and it's gonna be in this fucking thing. Granted, we're just playing with whatever skin they gave us. I do like putting, you know, the 20th Tactical Fighter Wing camouflage on as much as possible, but I'm not that autistic. I can be kind of lazy, and we'll just fly around the fucking F-100, whatever, yo, will come with me.
gaining here as we come into the pitch, look at the pitch ball here. Gonna practice maneuvers, obviously. This is another thing you have to worry about, because I don't think we're gonna get into formation flying anytime fucking soon, but, you know, being able to precisely control the plane is an art. It'll help us with things like aerial refueling, God help us. Okay, so I've visually identified which airfield we're at here. Is the TACAN system set? No, it's off. Okay, do I have the TACAN station for this airfield? 16, looks like. Okay. Well, no, we want 1 and then 6. That's going to take it a minute to warm up, but that should give us the nav beacon back to the airport. That one, optimally speaking. But we didn't turn that on for takeoff because I didn't think I was going to be using it, but now, well, we're going to putz around a bit since we have plenty of fuel. So eventually that'll come on, and it'll guide us back over here, I hope. Okay, good. Mostly dead straight in the descent there without having to put anything on the stick. So thank you, dampeners. My grandfather's hard work. Good lord, using the burner to come over here has burned most of my fuel. Though we've got the externals, and I'm not exactly sure how to read all of the fuel gauges? We're gonna need to learn how to do that. I figure we come over here into the mountains, have a little bit of it more interesting and exciting maneuvering. Mostly gentle turns here, obviously, but... maybe try to fly under a nice bridge. Because I did do that once, but it wasn't over here. Okay, the TACAN station's warmed up. We're starting to warm up. Should be behind us whenever it stabilizes, but it's the dial is a-spinning. It might be that we're too low in the mountains to get the beacon, but we know we just kind of go back exactly the way we came. Let's turn in here a little bit. But we're going pretty fast here, and the dampeners, yeah, the dampeners are slowing us down, but we'll make that turn just fine. Nice and smooth. Still pulling enough G's to breathe heavily, but nice and smooth. At least I know since we're heading east, we just pull up and go west, and we'll probably find the beacon for the airfield. Heading back the other direction, just remembering where we went. It's probably obscured by the mountains. It looks like we've run out of canyon. Have our picturesque little flight. Ain't that nice looking, though? That shadow is not nice looking, though. What the fuck's going on there? Okay, looks like, yep, no, we're getting the beacon. Alright, it's basically exactly where I thought it'd be. It's right over there, which hell, the zoom is off here, but I'm pretty sure we can see the airfield from here. Get a little bit of thrust. Those are power lines down there. I think. That is part of the river, so we're going to be careful there. Okay, I think there's some sloping terrain down there next to that bridge, or I'd try it, but hang on here. We don't want to slam directly into a mountain. I don't know what's going on down there. Let's try not to slam into the mountain. Right, we're about 75% fuel. The airfield is basically directly right in front of us. Hell, this is almost a landing approach aside from me being over the speed of sound. Yep, there's the field. And we're... Oh, well, now I gotta try it. So hold on here. Try not to die while doing it, but hang on here. That one looks easy enough to pull off. On this episode, Boris gets demoted. Well, we gotta try. Okay, so the bridge is right over the river. So as long as I don't slam directly into the water, I can see it. Water's kind of touchy, but you can see it in the sunlight. You can't really see the exact surface of it. It's just kind of a big blue blob. Okay, so we're gonna bring it in here nice and low. Nice and low. Hey! That one was easy, though. That wasn't that big of a deal. There's more than enough room under there for us. But okay, now that we're gonna be kicked out of the Air Force, let's bring it in for a landing, shall we? Slow down as we're going to make the turn. We're going to burn more speed as we come into the turn here, and the airfield should be right over there. We're a little bit right of it. She's not really liking the whole idea of slowing down, but that's mostly on. Flare a little bit. Speed breaks down, so girl, anytime you want to like slow down, that'd be nice. Probably a little fast for the gears, but little sketchy on the approach here. Not exactly exacting and perfect, but we'll hit the runway at a decent speed. That descent I don't like, though. There we go. That's completely off the runway, but okay. Whoa, wait, hey, girl.
No, no, that we're gonna abort that. No, Whoa, hey, uh-oh. Oh, no, I know that fucking feeling. Okay, whoa. No, that's almost a saber dance. We're not doing that. Oh, I know what that feeling is, and we're not fucking playing around with that. Woo. So we're gonna go around. Come in for a bit of a nicer approach. Turn the burner off. Give us plenty of space. Also, I forgot to move my seat up to actually get a view of the runway. This is why we're practicing, so I remember to do these sorts of things. Mercy me, that's speeding up and not slowing down, so, Saber, can we manage a slow the fuck down today? Nah, that's too sharp of an angle. Or, no, go around again. Too close. Needed more room to pull that off. Back off on the stick a little bit, gain a little bit more speed, but try not to go over 300 knots. Patience. That's the key to landing properly. I appear to have my head outside the canopy at that angle, but oh well. I guess that's Ace Combat 2 back there, but it's more drum and bass, so I'm not sure if that's Ace Combat 3 or not, but jungle playlist today, on all accounts. That should be far enough to get ourselves a decent approach. A little high. Try and stabilize at like 250 as we approach. That should give us plenty of speed to start to slow down, but not enough to overrun it, slam into the dirt. That looks like an okay approach. Start descending a little bit more. Drop the speed. Still a little fast here, but we got the angle right, looks like. Gear down. Okay. Okay, approach looks good. We're slowing down. Still a little fast, but not too fast. Don't want to fucking stall while we're bringing it in here. We're on descent angle here, a little bit harder than usual, but we want to keep it between 2 and 3, and that's exactly where we are right now. So this is the proper approach angle according to the manual. We're gonna slow it down and bring it down a little bit more gently than fucking 2. Okay, and on the dirt. Drag shoot. Pump the brakes. It's got anti-skid, so you want to pump the brakes as you slow down because it'll, you know, the brakes won't lock because then you skid. nose gear steering, wherever you are, you're on, but you're not working. I didn't bring it down that hard, did I? Where the fuck? There we go. Whoa, okay. Guess the brakes, guess there's a delay with the brakes on that one, but alright. Also, I still had the throttle up a little bit, so that's where we weren't really slowing down. That looks smooth enough to get us off the runway without... Right, yeah. It's a little fast for the runway, but it's smooth enough to come off the side. Okay, so that was actually a pretty okay landing in terms of approach. We brought it down a little fast, and I forgot to drop the throttle to 0 after we hit the runway, but generally speaking, not bad. Better than most of my landings in terms of approach angle. And hi, Nix. We're having ourselves a little bit of a break here. After all that, though, we've done basically all we can. We can fight the big 21 for, you know, kicks and giggles, more or less. Kind of do want to practice something like rockets, because we really haven't been doing that terrifically much, but I'm not sure what we should do now. Guess we'll park it in over here. The center one's our spot, but I don't trust her to actually stop and turn around properly. She can do that, but she kind of does it unintentionally sometimes. Anywhere's a parking ramp if you turn the engine off, I guess, right? Hey. More or less okay. I still have not mastered the shutdown procedure, though. Any day you want to stop here, because we're still rolling. Hi. I would like to stop today, if at all possible. Kind of waggle the throttle here and just kind of burn off some speed. Or waggle the rudders, but no, she doesn't want to come to an exact... What the fuck is going on here? Yeah, maybe if I just turn until she stops being able to move? Because the throttle's all the way back. There it is, and then she stops. That's fucking weird. I guess we just kind of just make a hook with the nose gear steering, and then, you know, then we come to a fucking halt. I guess. But one of these days I'll actually learn the shutdown procedure, but that's a small thing. We're gonna need that in order to, like, rearm the plane, I guess, but that's a small thing. Huh. Turn the music down a little bit. But, well, it is 10:30 and we have been going for about 4 hours, so in the interest of, well, not just doing things and getting myself bored here, I suppose that's it for today, I suppose. Because, well, there's more fucking around. There's always more fucking around. But, well, I'm going to be streaming basically whenever I can this week. Going away on a trip at the end of the week. So, I'm going to be here mostly playing DCS and doing whatever, more or less. Whatever I feel like or am able to do until I leave. So, well... plenty more where that came from. Don't get it too padded out, I guess. Next time, I suppose, we'll do more air-to-ground stuff. Get familiar and maybe learn, you know, come to grips with the lab's automated system and get that down pat. Or, you know, learn rockets and more gun strafing and just generally how to shoot things on the ground with some kind of accuracy and knowledge. Because while we were doing that a lot, I still don't really know very much. We didn't fuck around with rockets at all, aside from the tutorial. So... I suppose that's it for this evening, folks. There's still plenty to fly here and learn, but we did a lot. Hell, we shot down a flogger fair and square. So, I suppose that's the accomplishment for the evening. We could fight basically anything. Well, I wouldn't want to fight the flogger in Area 88, but there's a method to the madness of engaging him. But we can fight a MiG-21, giving him more or less the best equipment he could possibly have to kill us and still get away with it. So, well, now we know we can go to Area 88, but those fucking floggers, though, man. Ugh. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host, Horace Whittison, and that has been our show for this evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time.